Good evening, good evening, good evening. Welcome in. I hope everyone is doing well. For those that celebrate Easter, I hope you had a wonderful time. For those that don't but really like chocolate, I hope you were able to.
I'm European champion, so I'm not one of the bottle. I think I'm a special one.
Yes, for those that just like chocolate, I hope you were able to get down to the shops yesterday, get loads of discount stuff. And for those that don't care about either, I hope you've had a lovely weekend. How is everyone this fine Tuesday? We have some AC Milan coming up, and I'll be honest, we're going to be taking it a little bit gentle today. I think that after the last stream on Friday night, where things didn't necessarily go quite to plan, it's about time we kind of dive a little bit deeper, go through some of the data, and maybe try and identify where we can change a couple things for our tactics to see if we can just kind of get a little bit out of that run. But before we get there, I need to say hello to some wonderful, wonderful people because we have Blue Lions in. And Blue Lions is an absolute gentleman, delighted with Chelsea's last-minute winner, Neto slamming home. I mean, Leno should have saved it. It was pretty close to him, and it's broken my heart. But yes, a fantastic result for Chelsea at the weekend. Theo is in as well. Lovely to see you, Theo. How are you, my dude? So cool. We've got Quan in, and Quan has just finished third with Augsburg and is now in a title race. Sensational stuff. Absolutely incredible. Whilst Jonsa is absolutely tearing it up with Hanover. Looks like he's going to win the league. And potentially a treble, which is absolutely sensational stuff. And now making me start to wonder, maybe we should have stayed in the Bundesliga. It seems to be the league of success. Welcome in Jacko as well, and Yuri. Lovely to see you both. How are you doing this fine day? We've also got a little bit of George over on YouTube as well. That's absolutely great. We've got Sherbs in. How you doing, sir? Lovely to see you. We've got some Johnny Trotter. We've got some Night of Knee. We've got some FMG&G. Now, Johnny is over in Croatia, and I kind of feel like I should ban you from the chat because enjoy your holiday, man. Don't be tuning into this nonsense. I mean, my word. 10 days in Croatia sounds like absolute bliss. I hope you have an absolutely incredible time. We also have just a small bit, just a little bit of DM basis. Lovely to see you, my dude. How are you? You would like some chocolate, but you're fat and on a diet, so no. Look, I mean, I don't want to be the one that sets you down the wrong path, because being on a diet is absolutely fantastic, and those efforts are great. But you know, what's a little bit of chocolate? What's a little bit of chocolate? No one will know. No one will know. Yeah, like unless you tell people, then we'll know. But we won't judge because chocolate is good. Chocolate is supreme. So chocolate is great. I'm sorry for trying to convince you otherwise. Welcome in, Rick. Lovely to see you, my dude. How are you this fine Tuesday? And Coritiba as well. You've just lost a Bayern on the German Super Cup. Now, Coritiba, thank you. It's good to know that I'm not the only person that hasn't won anything in the Bundesliga. It makes me feel a little bit better, if that's any consolation. So if that's what you came in to do, you have done a fabulous job. I'm sorry to revel in your poor fortune. How was your weekend? How did Coritiba get on at the weekend? So Quan says the Diego Simeone problem. We are talking about being strong defensively, being really useful against the big teams, but then struggling to break down those teams in and around you. Yeah, it is the Diego Simeone problem, exactly. Cause problems with the defensive structure, unable to break down the small teams who then allow you to have the ball. It's the age-old problem, isn't it, for a lot of teams that progress. It tends to be that ceiling when they... What's the best way of putting it? It's the David Moyes career path, where Moyes has been absolutely fantastic throughout his career of creating tough-to-beat, imposing teams that can play football but don't necessarily have quite that last bit of guile to take that next step up. And as Moyes establishes a team to a certain point, he then tries to adapt the approach, and it kind of starts to fall apart, and he has to revert back to type, which it's pretty much been the exact same path at almost every club for like the last 20 years now. Oh, welcome in the Dutch FM. How are you doing, sir? How was the stream earlier? I did see you were on a little bit earlier whilst I was over in Kev's stream, the United Cities, a little bit earlier. Yes, so how did the stream go? DM Bassist, you threatened to ban me if I turned up here whilst I was on. Exactly, DM Bassist. Exactly. That's what I'm saying about Johnny Trotter. I love you, Johnny. I appreciate it very, very much. But yeah, it's your holiday. Get lost in the nicest way possible. So you've 6 points gained for the FM show tourney. Fantastic. Now top of the table and probably going to stay that way. How many games you got left, Dutch FM? So for those that don't know, a bit like I'm doing in the FMNL Super League, the FM show podcast is running their own tournament. I just didn't have enough time to be able to register for all of them, which is currently ongoing, currently in the group stages. There's like something like 160 players, which is sensational. Absolutely sensational. So, Dan Bassist, I'm going to treat yourself to a cheeky wee cream egg. I don't know what that accent was. I don't know what that accent was at all. Yes, maybe make it 2 or 3 cream eggs. Like, because at 1 cream egg on its own, that's not enough to sate those desires, is it at all? So you were going for a nice healthy walk, but then Oblivion Remastered was released, so therefore I'm going nowhere. That's a fine choice. I do mean to check it out on Steam to see how much it is. I think I've God, how long ago was Oblivion? Oblivion is a long time ago, and I'm pretty certain I only completed it by cheating. But you know, that's half the fun of a story game, right? No judgment here. So Cool Person is in. Is it fully out or just a demo? So it is the full remaster. They released a trailer just a couple of hours ago, didn't they? But yeah, I think it's the full remaster as far as I know. So Cortiba lost 1-0 away at Remo. Oh dear. Jack Wilshere is the new Norwich standing manager. We've got some interesting. Aaron Ramsey now is at Cardiff as well. Very interesting final games of the season with some interesting part-time caretaker, stand-in, interim, whatever term you want, jobs out there. Right, let's head on over to the stream. And this is where we stand. We stand currently in second. We are 3 points behind Napoli, having lost quite recently away against Bologna. There are 2 remaining unbeaten teams in the league. Inter, who we drew with last game, 1-1 at home, but also away because we share the same stadium, and Cagliari, who could jump above us if they win their game in hand. Now looking at this, 10 games in, that's not the worst situation anybody's ever been in. We had a couple of draws, both at home. So that game against Inter Milan, where we were second best, and then a home game against Barcelona in the Champions League, where we dominated but just couldn't score. In between that was that defeat to Bologna, which was a pretty piss poor game, all things considered. So I want to have a look, maybe see whether we only played 4 games on the stream last time out. We played the FMNL round of 64 halfway through the stream, so we kind of had a big long 5-hour stream with only 4 games got through. So the question is this a case of just a little bit of bad luck, or are there some structural issues we kind of need to address? So I want to have a look through these games, and this is the kind of thing I'd normally be doing off stream, because I take a long time over it, and you know, I like to keep some momentum when we're going in these things. But I think it might be interesting to have a look together and see how we go. So Oblivion Remastered, the best single on the best television album. I'm out of my depth here. I mean, go for it. Absolutely go for it. So Johnson says, Arteta, Fabregas, Wilshere and Ramsey all now managers. And we're starting to get to that point, are we? All those players that we grew up with are now retired. They're starting to establish themselves as managers. It's very, very weird, isn't it? It was only 20 minutes ago. I didn't realise it was. I saw the trailer before the stream started and assumed that I was just a bit out of the loop. So do we know how yesterday's evening's chat went, Musterman? Okay, yes. So yesterday, just kind of update you. I had to move the stream back just because I had a call with a director of a charity that I've applied for a job for. It was just an informal chat. It was a chance for me to kind of get to know a little bit more about their culture and kind of those things that I can hopefully then take forward for the interview. So yeah, it was cool. It's productive. There were a few things that I've now got listed down to have a little bit more of a look into to try and get a better understanding. I kind of got a little bit of an idea about some of their pain points in their current processes as well, so I can have a little bit of a think ahead of time as to ways that I can provide value. So yeah, it was absolutely fine. A lot of useful information, but nothing major comes out of it. What I do hope though is that by making those efforts, they can see that I'm keen and that I'm wanting to that I'm actively showing an interest and maybe leave a good impression on someone who's not directly involved in the hiring process might help me a little bit. We'll find out. So yeah, let's have a drop in here now. In this game, let's start with the highlights. Actually, I think if we pop up some highlights on, so for those that weren't here, you can kind of see what happened in the game. I forget how scary Mika Haritalo is, man. That is crazy. Because the stats were very much in Inter's favour, but I do feel that we played quite well. We had some very, very good chances, denied by a couple of absolutely fantastic saves, but they weren't necessarily high quality chances. They were just good shot placement. So yeah, we'll have a look through as Ferdy comes forward, sends it across. That's is this a key highlight? That was a key highlight, apparently. Probably tells you about the quality of the game overall, really. When that is considered a large moment. So I think, is this going to be one of our chances? I think we had a chance relatively early on. Don't tell me that was the highlight. No, here we go. Yeah, okay. Yeah, No, is this really the... This was a bad game. This was a very bad game. Lovely turn from Cunha there. Okay, now I remember. That was a lovely turn from Cunha that set them away. Beautiful, beautiful move to get forwards. Broke through, one-on-one. A little bit disappointed with Milenkovic's defending. He got beaten a little bit too easily. So Belka here to Ferdy. Ferdy, relatively easy save. I think our equaliser is coming from this move. So Caprile sends it long, we knock it on, and then Benato's in behind. It's a pretty sweet strike. I think that generally speaking, we had a couple of better chances earlier than that, but there we go. And then Camavinga here. This was a move where we just refused to challenge anyone whatsoever. Did really nicely to beat the defender. Good save from Caprile. So is that the FMNL round of 16, Musterman? The next FMNL will be the round of 32. It's against Sai Maggio. We are looking to arrange that, so that will be some point this week, probably on Thursday or Friday daytime. I think the last comment I got from Sai was that daytimes are better for him, so that should be exciting. We are guaranteed to have some British representation in the round of 16. Which is all cool. So, right. So, anyone got any ideas how I boost your Wi-Fi? Oh. I mean, yeah, plugging in the cable usually. Ethernet over Wi-Fi is usually one thing. Also checking the down detector, because it might not be your Wi-Fi. It might be the service provider. Or pay your bills on Shabs. Exactly. Oh, welcome in, Hossan. By the way, lovely to have you in. Hope you've had a lovely weekend. We've got a Zeratul as well. That's great to see. How are you, sir? How are you feeling after a good result? 2-0 at the weekend. More hideous courting of Naipan going on from Villa. I'm loving it. Right, so yeah, those highlights didn't help us much, to be honest. There were some other chances in there. What I am keen on is seeing where things broke down. So we can see immediately we're losing the ball a lot on the flanks. I'm going to start with Theo here. Now, a lot of that I'm expecting is going to be crosses. It is indeed. So we've got 10 unsuccessful crosses, 1 blocked, 1 intercepted, 2 that met their target. One of them, the target apparently was outside the box. And 1 cross out of play. I've got to see that one. What on earth? How do you... That's not a cross. Oh, okay. That makes a bit more sense. But realistically, if a player's going to be trying to cross the ball, we know it's going to have a relatively low success rate. So I'm going to ignore those ones particularly. I do want to see what's happening with him losing the ball. Otherwise, is it a lack of support? Is it, trying something that he's not necessarily got the quality to do? That was just a clearance. That's absolutely fine. DeMarco out to Litvinov. Again, a very similar situation. Blocks it and then just has to get rid. Again, that's absolutely fine in that respect. So you WhatsApped me yesterday, Crabbo, and I ignored... Oh, did I not reply? Sorry. Yeah, I ignored you. I'm very, very sorry. I'm very, very sorry. I completely and utterly forgot. Yeah, never mind, it was BT being down. There we go. Right, let's see what happens here then. So, got this. Just a bad touch. That's kind of part of... Again, I don't... He could have passed it back pretty early. That might have been the solution. He runs into that one. That's let's just pop here. Should he have passed it beforehand? Or more specifically, could he have passed it beforehand? So at this point here, as Torreira shifts over, he probably should have played it into Nico. There is potentially a long ball down the way, but Xerxes is facing the other way. That pass in there would have been far too tight. That pass into Xerxes now, though, kind of on. And just holds on to it a little bit too long. But there were options both inside and in front of him that he could have used. So that's not a case of him being isolated there. So Johnson says, just to keep the delusion that you're somehow connected to every Finnish football person, Mika Aratalo is the former teammate of my coach. You really are. You are connected some way, Johnson, to every single Finnish. I mean, I'm starting to wonder whether it's just every Finnish person, not just footballers. Exactly. So round of 16, Musterman. You knew what I meant the other day. You knew what I meant. I told the other two in the group to go win it all. Fair enough. Right, so here again, we've got support inside. There is an option there. We're going to see what he does at the moment. I suppose I could ask the fire to be underneath, but that's not that much. Xerxes and Carmona. So Xerxes is playing as a deep lying forward, I think, in this sense, which makes sense why he's not running the channel. But maybe that's what we do want, is we want both of them running the channel, both of our forwards running the channel. Yeah, it's another case of him really dribbling when he should have passed inside earlier. So you want them to win the ball so you look better, and one went out right away in the round of 32. The other lost 5-3 in the round of 16. Damn, that's not good. Well, I wasn't watching that as we saw that here. So ball out to Hernandez here again. Right, Bernatto should really attack this space here, but that I'd really want, like, there's not the pass inside there, so I want Bove to be coming kind of underneath, or Beraldo could split out. So really you'd want Bernatto pushing forwards into that bit and Elena Kane moving into this space here. And we get neither of those, and he gets tackled. And we're going to see this again. Right, so Hernandez again. Okay, he tries the pass inside to Elena Kane. Elena Kane at this point is facing this way, so we can't see it. was that the best time to pass the ball? So he gets it here. Again, we've got the option inside. It would be a difficult pass, but there is the support there. There is the support behind him. That's good. So yeah, I think I want the player playing as a trequartista should be more aggressively coming towards the ball. And I think we need to have both our strikers trying to push the channels. Looking at this immediately. Like when Hernandez makes the right decision there to pass inside. It's unfortunate that Elena Kena wasn't looking. That one is very much more on Elena Kena than it is on Hernandez, but it's still a pattern that we're seeing. Right. This here is... Oh, that's just running into your man. That's just being dumb. Okay. This lost possession here. So Elena Kena plays it out to Theo. That's good. Tries to... Now that counts as a cross. I'm not too worried about that one. Got a couple on the edge of the box here as well. Right, Beraldo was slow to pass to him. That should be recorded as a cross attempt as well. That one's fine. And this one is... So Elena Kena again. Right, relatively similar. Those I'll count as belonging to that group of like just general crosses that failed. In a more central position, no, it's just a free kick. As I said, the weekend was good until you decide to waste 2 hours of your life watching the Man United game. Oh, I can imagine that. That must be a... I mean, the season's over, right? There's nothing to play for other than pride. I think the players have lost any desire for pride anyway. I want to see that one again. So when we get it out here, Bove isn't really pushing into that area. Back to Beraldo. Beraldo's under pressure. Theo's under pressure. There are no options there. It would be one hell of a pass to get it through to Milenkovic. That would have been very risky. He could have just punted it somewhere over that direction, I suppose, and hoped that Belka here isn't there. So he loses out. Well, he wins the free kick. Cool. I'm going to do the same on the right as well. So we can see that Baglieri has lost a lot more of the ball in deep areas. So that might be a quality issue. You demanded a right refund. I get that. I get that. Baglieri steps in. Oh, wow. So he's been punished for someone else conceding a free kick there, whilst he had the ball. That's the same one, isn't it? Let's have a look here. So we go out. In this situation, we've got Heze moving into the channel. Which does lack that support there. I'm surprised that Benato's the trequartista is so far away from the ball. Nico supporting underneath. So that's got to go into Nico. He does try to find Benato. Right, Baglieri once again, this time from a throw-in. Just put under pressure and runs off the pitch with it. Smart. So Johnson says, thankfully it overlapped with the Hanover game, so I only had to watch the second half. Not that Hanover was much better. What was the Hanover result, Johnson? I caught little bits of the Schalke Hamburg game, which was a little bit crazy. Schalke going down to 10 men really, really early on. Hamburg taking the lead and then managing to throw it away, which is looks like they're trying to throw away their chances of the title. Baglieri here. In this situation, he's got a man inside. Is Heze going to run out? Right, it's a bad pass. That, again, I'd probably put on Heze rather than on Baglieri. Now, I don't necessarily know the answers to this, by the way. I can spot what's wrong. I don't necessarily know how to fix it. We've got Heze here. Granted, he's facing the wrong way, but the space is there. So he needs to be making a run, like starting now, so that the pass can go on a trajectory outside of where Balieri's body is. So rather than having to try and fizz it in, you put it out into space to run onto. Like Heza should have been moving into that space earlier than that moment, essentially. Guessing that's going to be a set piece of some sort, which it is. Interesting. So from that free kick, we're lined up in a 3-4-3 with Rafael Leao back defending. No, we're lined up in a 3-4-3 going forwards. It's our goal kick. Balieri flicks it on. I know what I'm looking at. Honest. And was this one that we saw? Minzen, welcome in, my dude. How are you, sir? Yes, footballers are very bad at occupying space. I agree completely. That's kind of a fine football player as far as I reckon. So Zerachal, you're not picking Amin, Hoyland and Nana. I'd take it from anyone. I mean, maybe a refund from each of them. I think that's the only way that would be fair. So Grubmo missed where we decided to go back to FMO8 in the 2D pitch. Just for some of the analysis. Suppose goes in. Welcome in, my dude. You've just got your train ticket sorted for Sunday. Actually looking forward to it. I mean, at least there's some positivity for some, eh? I mean, it's having a great season, aren't you? Absolutely incredible. And we're welcoming, by the way, King Sergio. Thank you very much for the follow. I hope you're doing well. You have arrived as I am going through, in arguably far too painful levels of detail, one of our recent matches. Again, I'm fine with that loss of possession. I'd count that as a cross attempt. It was looking for the man in the box. That's absolutely fine. So we're struggling to get players supporting ahead of play in the channel. By the way, welcome in as well, Simon over on YouTube. Hope you're doing well. Hope you've had a lovely weekend. I've been okay with the support inside, so that's kind of all right. Let's clear the events there. The other areas that we're losing the ball. So Bonato, as a trequartista, you expect him to lose the ball. Let's have a look again. We will see whether any of those. I'm guessing that's set pieces and crosses. So we've got 5 crosses. There's those coming there. That covers some of those, which makes sense. So let's see him getting involved deep. And yeah, like losing the ball only 4 or 5 other times during the course of the game isn't too bad. That's fine. Picked up the ball, cleared it. Didn't see an option. I can live with that. I can also live with them trying something. Can they? Not that necessarily. What was that? So you get the ball. He does turn inside, so that does make it difficult because the next move there is to definitely flick it through for Elena Kana. Takes a touch, pop it through for Hernandez. And yeah, so that's a mistake on Bonato's behalf. And that's going to run through because we did the little thing there. Let's see what we've got going on here. So results elsewhere confirmed United are safe from relegation. So it really is just a case of putting eggs in one basket and winning the Europa League. Indeed it is. I'm fine with that. That was attempting to play the ball through. It was just not quite there. But the intention was good, so I'm fine with that. Bonato here, heavy touch. Again, I wouldn't describe a heavy touch as being a tactical issue, so I can live with that as well. Right, from a free kick, Bonato is over here. And that offside. Okay, so I'm not worried about Bonato. One of the things I was a little bit concerned about was when we were going to look through this, is that I was going to see maybe that Bonato would find himself crowded out. Maybe we were too narrow and that there wasn't really the space for him to do anything. That's not necessarily what I'm seeing from when he loses the ball. What I do want to see, clear events, is his passes. So how many of them are backwards? We do get only a few going backwards. That's fine. Only a few going forwards. A lot of sideways passes. I wouldn't necessarily be too concerned about that. So that's the intergame. Let's see if we were seeing anything similar with Bologna. So Hanover 3-1 loss to Darmstadt, which killed all last hopes of the promotion playoff. That's a shame. You just don't understand the coach. 2 metre tall centre back on the opponent, and we just cross it all game. And the one time we actually play it on the ground, we score. I mean, is that not the element of surprise? If the opposition are expecting crosses all game long, and then once in a while, you know, it's evidently trying to lure them into a false sense of security. Welcome in, RJ. Lovely to see you, my dude. I'm doing very well. How are you? Right, you've redeemed bingo, and that's because I'm an idiot that hasn't updated stuff. So we will have some bingo a little bit later, but let me update the name of the redeem as well, because we're back to regular mini games. So let's pop on over and let me update that lovely bit behind the scenes. So as it was still called bingo at that time, let's head over and start with bingo. That's only fair. Regular mini games, no bingo. Wow. Okay, I see how it is. I mean, you were saying only the other day that you missed having a little bit of variety to the games, but fine, dear mate. I don't mind. Right, let's head on over. There is, in your chats right now, there is a link to join bingo. If you guys haven't played before, it's really straightforward. Every single player gets a unique bingo card with 16 squares. On those squares are clubs, countries, awards, competitions, players. We then all get the same list of 60 players, one after the other, with 10 seconds to act. We have to identify whether they match one of those squares. If they do, click on it. They might match more than one. They might match none though, at which point you'll want to skip or let the time run. Once you've locked in an answer, that's it. It's locked in. You can't undo it. You can't place another player on that square. So be careful. You don't know what's going to come up. So if you're not certain, it might be worth waiting to see what comes up later down the line. It takes a little bit of time to jump into the game. So we'll give it another 90 seconds or so. We will then start the game. Because we get the same players in the same order, when I'm playing on stream, I will be very, very slow over the first 4 or 5 answers so that I don't get ahead of your game, so you don't get to find out who's coming up. You know, let's make it all nice and fair. So Zerchul's back to hating bingo, regular mini games for the win. I mean, so DMB says he just absolutely loves bingo, and that's fair. RJ just redeems whatever the game is. That's fair. Now I do. Right, whilst we've got this last minute or so, whilst people are signing up, I do have a potential bit of controversy coming up. I will pop it to a poll after the game is up there, but I'm thinking of resetting the leaderboard at the beginning of May. It will be exactly 6 months that I've been recording the scores. And I think every now and then it's good to have a little bit of a refresh and maybe a 6 monthly season, or maybe even shorter seasons perhaps. We could do it 3 monthly or something like that as well, so that we can keep it fresh, we can keep it moving, and so that Crodmo is no longer top. It's all about ruining Crodmo. It's a one stream season. Well, I do keep a weekly score. Obviously, this is the beginning of the week, so yes, I'll pop that out to a poll after the mini game to see how we're feeling on that. And the pennies just dropped with Crodmo. DN Basis wants justice for Crodmo. Fair enough. Right, we're going to head on into the game now. So the Bingo Grind is your favourite mid-90s Jamaican dancehall hit by Chakademus and or Pliers. I preferred Pliers' solo career, to be honest. I want to destroy your crown, exactly. So winner takes it all on this. Well, Greavesy, there's still a week to go. There's still a week before April ends, and Crodmo is a long way ahead in the all-time leaderboard. So it will take a lot, but I'm happy to conspire to maybe close that up a little bit if we can. Right, okay, so Benny McCarthy. Benny McCarthy, quite famously, is a Champions League winner, maybe. Zinedine Zidane. Ooh, lots of options we can go with for this. I am, though, going to go with World Cup. I should have gone Champions League, actually, to be honest. I think that would have probably been better for things that I usually struggle with or can't remember. Matthias Soule. Ooh, I don't think he's any of these, so we can let that one skip. Demiral. I'm not feeling confident on that one, so I'll let that one go as well. Arda Güler. What a promising young player he is. He's really, really good at sitting on a bench. Yeah, that's me being... I'm going with Di Matteo to have played with Buffon for Italy. Don't feel particularly confident about that, though. Pascal Gross, we'll let that one run as well. Zerachel says, double points for everyone, just reset Crudmo. I think we can work with that. We could definitely work with that. Welcome in, Milos, by the way. Hope you're doing very well. Hope you've had a lovely weekend. Right, Jesse Lingard. I have not kept track of the various clubs that Jesse Lingard has played for since leaving Man United. I know there's that spell at West Ham. Talking of, up comes Thomas Souček. And there's been some peculiar clubs along the way, but I don't think they're any of these ones. Right, Mark Viduka. Mark Viduka is... I'm not feeling it on that one either. Noni Madueke. Suppose we'll just go with the safe option here. England, we'll go Champions League with Karim Benzema or Golden Boot. Let's go Golden Boot. Mark Bosnich doesn't match any of those. And if it wasn't for some of his extracurricular stuff, I would have said some nice things about him. Best goalkeeper of my era of supporting Villa, to be fair. Like, definitely better than Emi in his prime. As much as Emi is the greatest goalkeeper in the world and whatnot. Right, Johan Bakayoko. I don't know where is he still in the Netherlands at the moment? I have no idea. Nathan Ake, Chelsea, Man City, Bournemouth. So I don't think he matches any of those. Emi Buendia. There's the real best, the best Emi. He's been managed by Emi. Doesn't quite work. Nani for Man United champions. Oh, let's go Portugal. Feel okay on that one. Abelardo, Barcelona. Andrea Cambiasso. I mean, Juventus would have been good for that one. I don't know. Otherwise, Fagioli. Timothy Weah. We're leaving that one. Antonio Di Natale. Bertie Traore. Where is Traore nowadays? Absolutely no idea. Gavi. Filippo Melo. Not liking any of these that are coming through right now. Vinicius Jr. Ilya Zabani, another Bournemouth player. Foreign, right, we've hit the Ukrainian section. Wesley Sneijder, Inter and Real Madrid. Noah Lang for Netherlands. Kolo Muani for France. Nordi Mukiele. Not feeling confident on that one. Bono for Sevilla. Jeffrey Kondogbia was Inter, wasn't he? So I think I'll let that one run. Nobby Solano, Leandro Paredes. Salomon Kalou as part of the Chelsea team that won when they played Ryan Bertrand at left back, at left midfield. I'm not confident on that one, but we've gone for it. I've clicked the button now. Çalhanoğlu's played for both Milans, I think. So I'm going with that. And Coutinho at Liverpool. How badly have we done? How badly have we... I've got a bingo! Johnson's got a bingo. Hey! Oh, that'll do. That'll do. So Sidecar, welcome in. Just wondering what happened to the glorious beard. It was sacrificed for the wonderful Gamers Outreach charity. I'm waiting on some information from them as to what's the best link to use for fundraising after the event. But yeah, a couple of weekends ago, did a 3-day streamathon raising money to provide video game access to hospitalised children. Absolutely fantastic cause. The community here were wonderful. Absolutely wonderful. Raised $1,360, which absolutely mind-blowing. Part of the event involved, if we hit certain milestones, the beard would go. So we have no beard. Lingard for English, obviously, indeed. Papu Gomez for Sevilla, some very good answers there. Vinny for UCL winner. We'd already played UCL winner at that point. Felipe Melo Dutch. I'm not sure I'm going with that one though. Hunter Mins had a bad day, that's a shame. DM Basie's got the wrong Cambiasso. And we got this in just in time for Johnson's training. And Johnson, look at Johnson there. He comes in, he's like, yeah, I'll get myself a bingo and then I'll bugger off to training. What a perfect start to the evening. And draw with bingo as well. Incredible work, sir. Incredible. Koratiba, Jabbits, Johnny Trotter, Jinx and Greavesy only just behind, which is incredible. Absolutely incredible. A 5-way tie there. Quadmo, you deliberately messed it up. That's very gracious of you. Very, very. RJ with the worst score ever. Time to go back to normal games. You lose anyway. That's fair enough. That's fair enough. Absolute scene, says Yigit. Indeed. We do still have Zeratul. I don't know if Zeratrul's about. I didn't check the list of names. I think 22 might have been it. So I don't know if we have a late score coming in, but I can certainly check that a little bit later when we get there. Let's head back to the stream. So just for the record, you'd like me to sit out games? I can. It's better than you lot being a bunch of pissy little bitches all the time. Or, you know, you could just be better at these games. Just saying. Wow, Crudmo. Wow. I mean, the only person being a pissy little B word is myself. But no, genuinely, the reason is I think that it'd be nice to I mean, all-time is as an idea, having an all-time score thing is absolutely fine, but it kind of becomes a little bit... it feels a little bit exclusionary after time. You know, new people will come in, people will drop out, that's absolutely fine. And if you do want to do well on that board, you know, someone in about a year's time, it's going to be so far away to ever appear in the top 10 or the top 20 that it feels kind of a little bit useless. And that's essentially the thinking. So I will pop that out onto a poll. We've got, let's see, shall we reset minigame scores? I will say there'll be an answer for no. There'll be an answer for yes every 6 months. And one for like yes every 3 months. And I'll just leave that running up for, it's on 10 minutes. There's no real rush for the answer. So we'll see that. RJ's going to be a pissy little bitch and stop playing. That's fair enough. Winky's in. Welcome in, my dude. Welcome in. How are you doing? Lovely, lovely to see you. How's your week been? So Zeratul did come in. Zeratul tied with the groups on 42. Fabulous work, Zeratul. So there is a possibility we would play each other in the semi-finals of the Super League. I doubt I'm getting to the semis, Winky, I'll be honest. I hope I do. I absolutely hope I do.
It's not the statistics! It's not the statistics! You tell me! How do you measure somebody that could balance a balloon in a wind tunnel on a needle?
Oh, Greavesy, you absolute legend. That's 3 months you've been subscribed. What a star you are. Very, very much appreciated. Right, let's have a look here at where we're losing possession. So we lost possession, guess what, with the fullbacks. There's nothing new there. However, much fewer cross attempts this time. So I'm going to look to see again. I think these areas out wide in particular where we're noticing issues with options ahead of play. I want to just see if that pattern is still happening. So Beraldo into Theo. Theo here doesn't have his only real option is to turn around and go back at the moment. Like, Elena Kano is facing to come short. There's no route inside. So, okay, that I would blame on the players around Hernandez there. Let's see this next one here. Pisses it in, gets it back. Bad touch. And then 7 minutes later, loses the ball again. So Beraldo down the line to Theo. At this point, Bove charges forwards. Really should stick there. Probably want Roya stepping into that gap there, potentially. But it is a bad touch from Theo anyway, and then he loses out. And then we'll pop there. Right, so Theo... Okay, just not on the same wavelength. That's not quite so bad. Let's have a look at these options higher up from a throw-in. That's on Xerxes, but yeah, that's not an issue. That one. Milenkovic out to Balieri. Balieri just tries to beat his man and doesn't have the quality to do so. Here we go. Milenkovic, run forwards. The ball was high. I'm always quite happy to find excuses for why it's not their fault. I'm right, out to Balieri here. At this point, again, we've got Nico facing that way. Xerxes is facing the right way. You could run into that space potentially, or just stand still. And then there's no options. Right, okay. I feel like I've seen enough of the issues from the wide areas. Sakari lost the ball. Oh, wow, look at that grouping. That is consistency from Kari there. Playing as an attacking Mazzala in this game. So, just not a good set of communication with Carmona there. Fine, that's attempting the through ball again. Just not quite connected. So I think that one's the 30th minute. That one's the 37th minute, which means this one's the 5th minute. Right, just doesn't anticipate the pressure there. The trequartista is, we're seeing him often when the ball is on the right hand side. The trequartista split out to the left, which is, I'm not sure, but that's not a tactical thing. That he's dead in the center on the tactics board. And again, look at him over there. Rather than, for example, I would expect him where the referee is, because that's where the space is. So that's a lot. We've seen a lot of Kari trying to play through balls that kind of weren't on, but also Carmona didn't seem to be particularly alert to them. That's just dumb. And there's a couple of occasions where Kari just hasn't been aware of players around him. Over into Balieri. Here's Kari trying to play it through again. Okay. And then Xerxes. What are we seeing here with Xerxes? So Rowan would think that he would win against you in the final. That's fair. That is. I mean, I won't get to the final, but if I was to play against Rowan, I am almost certainly going to lose. That much is guaranteed. Am I full-time now with Twitch and YouTube? I'm not full-time, Sidecar. Whilst I am currently unemployed, I am like properly spending most of my days doing like proper job searching, and I go a little bit over the top. Shock horror. So a job application, generally speaking, will take me about 6 to 8 hours as I research the company and I try and learn a little bit about the kind of like whatever various system requirements there would likely to be, so that I kind of have an understanding. You know, if they use Sage, is quite a famous, well-known piece of payroll processing software, for example. You know, making sure I'd have a little bit of understanding if I didn't know and stuff. Right, so Xerxes, bad touch. Is that one? I'm losing track of which ones I've clicked on as well. I think that was the one we've just seen. So that's Xerxes, bad touch. Marv's in. Welcome in, my dude. How are you, sir? How are you? So Beraldo to Bove. Theo into Xerxes again. Bad touch. In the first minute, is this going to be another bad touch? Just attempting to beat a man and didn't. Let me have a look at his. Actually, yeah, possession is the fine one. So these are Xerxes touches. Nothing, nothing in that area there. Quite a few in this area here. Why is that? That is peculiar. So I think there's a couple of things that stand out for me from there. Your Mustermann is thorough and slow. What? I'm amazed. Indeed. Indeed. And there are issues aplenty indeed, Hungdamin. We've got spread the Muster channel to others, man. Absolutely. I mean, I will strongly advocate. Tell everyone about. I don't know why you'd want to tell everyone about me. There's this weirdo on the internet who plays a game very, very slowly, and we should definitely watch him. No, obviously, very, very much appreciated the support and the spreading of the word. So big Marv, you use LinkedIn, easily apply and hopes for the best. I can't stand LinkedIn, man. Oh, like. I've activated my LinkedIn again after not having it for 10 years or whatever. Like, I read 2 posts and I'm already hating the world. It's so bad for my mental well-being to be aware that there are real people like that out there. So Brandon, when you put in your filters for criteria for players, i.e. 0.2 goals per 90 for a midfielder, how do you know what is the right number to be looking for? Or is there a video I could watch to explain? So Brandon, as per like most Moneyball Clinic videos where it kind of touches on it, I will look at what my own players are doing and look for improvements thereupon. So I identify I've got a advanced playmaker attack in the slot here, and they've scored 0.23 goals over the course of the season. If I'm looking to replace them, I will start a little bit lower than that margin. I recognise that I'm expecting that role to both create and score, so I'd be looking at the expected assists and expected goals based off the player that's already in my squad. So that's generally the approach. For full-time, Mustermann need to share his YouTube content and get him that Manscaped sponsorship. I mean, with the length and unkemptness of my beard normally, I doubt Manscaped would come close, but look at all the opportunity. I could do some native advertising as well. You know, just subtly hide things in videos. LinkedIn is bullshit. Thank you, Benny. Thank you. Exactly. It's full of wankers. It's where hope goes to. Exactly. On that note, we've got a break coming up. So we're going to be disappearing for about 3-4 minutes as I go pee and refill my drink and poison my lungs. I will see you then. Right, and we're back. And sidecar, yes. LinkedIn sucks big donkey balls. Exactly that. I mean, I get that self-aggrandizing is an art form in its own right, but yeah, my God, just full of a-holes. So Crommo, why don't I refill my drink with pee, you points resetting autocrat? The people have spoken, Crommo. The people have spoken. We will reset the scores every 3 months. And because there's a little bit of time between now and May when we will do the reset, what I'm going to work out is some kind of way of marking each season of mini games as well, so we can have like something to kind of memorialize the winner of each season. I think would be a nice little touch, so it doesn't just disappear entirely. But not for Crudmo, because he wants me to drink my pee. So when Musterman goes on break, sound cuts out and I hear my cat snoring. I mean, that's a great noise. Such a chill noise. Like that's on a par with like the sound of waterfall or whale song. That's the kind of thing you could easily fall asleep to yourself. And Crudmo is right. Pics on Discord. Cats are compulsory. So Big Marv downloaded the Oblivion Remastered. Gonna wait until the weekend. That is some discipline, my man. That is a lot of discipline. I'm certainly going to be. I haven't seen what the cost of it is on there yet. I'm going to check out Steam after the stream. I was saying earlier on, I think that I haven't played it for a very, very long time, the original, and I'm almost certain I cheated to win. I'm almost certain that I probably activated some kind of god mode or something along those lines because I got annoyed with dying a lot. I wanted to get to the end of the story, and that's absolutely fine. Yeah, sure, I might have been like 25, 26 or whatever, and by that age should have probably got past the stage of needing to cheat, but there we go. That's how it is. That's just how it is. Right, so thoughts with change the plans. Now, a complete forward should move into channels. What I'm thinking is to pop both of these on attack. We've said that from our front three, we want our front three to have 2 on attack, 1 on support. So I'm thinking of taking off the trequartista and asking them to roam from position and hold up ball. I want to see if the advanced playmaker doesn't cheat to the left quite as much. Maybe we often were using Elena Kano on a support wall. Maybe because he drops deep, that encourages Bernardo to run beyond him. And that's why he'd then reset back into that kind of space down on the left, potentially. We've got the Mazzara as well attacking on the right. So I'm guessing that he occupies that space occasionally, which pushes Bernardo out. So my thinking is to go back to what we originally had, which was... did we have double Carraleros, I think, originally? I think we had double Carraleros. So we might try central midfielders on support. I'm actually going to make these guys wing backs. I want them to get forward and attack more often. They're still on dribble less. Stay wider, cut inside with ball. But I'm going to ask everyone to dribble less. I want to see less of those moments where Hernandez was trying to beat a man and the options weren't there. See if we can encourage them to look to pass inside a little bit more. I'm going to take the overlaps off as well. Oh, keep the overlaps on. Yeah, I think we keep the overlaps on, but we play now. So that should encourage us to play inside more and then look for the overlaps when they're there. Let's try and control a little bit more of the ball as well. So we're going to play out of defense and pass into space. I would love there to be a pass into space specifically for... Let's not pass into space. Let's ask these guys to take more risks. Something I'm usually averse to on my fullback. So let's see how they do with that. Potentially then have that option. Something to... So we've got 2 players in the middle that are going to attract the ball. Hopefully that helps us move inside or look forward. Happy with the counter press, don't need to counter. The out of possession stuff is basically untouchable. So that's what I'm thinking going into the next couple of games. We've got 2 away games against Red Bull Salzburg and Torino coming up. And then we have a nice international break before Genoa. So realistically, that Genoa game is probably the one where I'm going to be assessing whether I feel happy with the changes. At that point, we'll have had enough. We'll had a couple of games to get used to it, plus some training time as well. That's the thought. So Sherb's missing your guinea pigs. Oh man, I can get that. So Marv, you got it with Game Pal. Game Pal? Game Pal. Yeah, that's what I'm calling it now. Game Pass even. I mean, that's fair. I have a feeling I'm going to be one of those that tries and holds out to never get Game Pass. I feel uncomfortable with subscription services. And I know that it does represent really good value, but just the idea that maybe you have to stop paying for the subscription pass and you lose access makes me feel very, very, very uncomfortable. So why not? You must be assimilated, one of us. Oh, what are you talking about there? So ironically, Quadmo voted for resetting the scores. He will just destroy you all at mini games again and again. Bold take, bold take. FM is not a game, it's a way of life. Isn't it just? Isn't it just? Welcome in, Traction. How you doing, sir? Lovely, lovely to see you. I hope you're well. Obviously, I read the update at the weekend. I hope that you're keeping well. I hope that your missus is recovering as well as can be. I appreciate it's a very, very difficult time at the moment, but it's lovely to see you in. I hope that you've had as warm and enjoyable an Easter as you can. So Michael says over on YouTube, how did things end with Darmstadt? So Mikkel, we after the end of the 4 seasons, we once again managed to qualify for the Conference League. We were knocked out in the semi-finals by Sassuolo, 1-0 over 2 legs. But we decided that at that point we kind of come to the end of our path with Darmstadt. Like in real life, managers after that kind of period that don't have necessarily a direct connection to the club, as Mika Aratalo, a Finnish manager that never played for them in the past, wouldn't have had any connection. It was time to step down and see what the next challenge was. And so we stepped down, we interviewed at Tottenham, we interviewed at AC Milan, and Milan offered us the job. So we are now over here. Our first season. We're only 10 games into the league season so far. We joined in the summer, so we didn't have a big pool of players to judge on. So we've not really kind of been able to get our teeth into the recruitment side of things yet. So yeah, that's what's happened with Darmstadt. We've moved on over. So Dutch FM, no bingo today. We've already played some bingo. It's part of the suite of mini games, Dutch FM. So there will be some more mini games if people redeem it. It's probably on a cooldown at the moment. So Bajic will sell you. No, I don't. I didn't say I'll sell you now. I said I'll sell you. Okay, we'll sell him in January, or we'll try and sell him in January. That's fine. He's a backup. We'll sign a backup goalkeeper. Probably not the biggest concern out there at all. We identified early on that we didn't think he was ever going to play much for us. So not really a big issue there. So a new poll suggestion. Should Quadmo start with minus 100 points? Where's the... Oh no, come on. Right, bear me 1 second. Where is the thingy what's it? Sorry, I'm running through to try and find my lovely little sound alerts bit. There we go. Pro streamer, absolutely.
Sometimes maybe good, sometimes maybe shit.
Indeed. My ability to set up my stream stuff is exactly that. What a wonderful, wonderful metaphor for the situation. So I hear in the last broadcast there'd be a special broadcast on Friday at an unusual time. Was that cancelled? So draw. I was thinking of doing a special broadcast on Friday morning at about 12:30 a.m, 1 a.m. British Summer Time. because it's the NFL draft, and so I'm going to be up for it anyway. And then I realised that I have neighbours, and thought that actually that's probably not a very reasonable thing. I can certainly try and peak a little bit quieter, but anyone talking at that time when everything else around the world is very, very quiet, it's a little bit unfair. So I decided against it for the sake of those that live next door to me. So yeah, I want to, but yeah, probably not fair. So minus 50 for Crodmo. Oh, he wants minus 100. It'll take you all of 5 games to be back to the top again. My word, the man is confident. Man is confident. Right, Hernandez is going to be banned for the next league match, so I'm fine with him starting. Let's bring in Profundi. Let's bring in Roya as well. So I want to bring in basically a reasonable number of our backups. Theo can come onto the bench. In fact, if we bring De Feo in as he's left-footed, Theo on the bench. I think Kari is back, so that's all right. Do I want to... Let's give Bove a rest. Pop Xerxes in that role there and put Carmona back into the starting lineup. So we are rotating a little bit because it is RB Salzburg. Probably not the wisest idea, considering I would really, really like a win. But we've gone. Should feel reasonably comfortable with that. They're going to be playing a 4-4-2. So pop that onto next match only. We don't need someone marking an attacking midfielder if they don't have an attacking midfielder. Cool, let's see how that goes. Let's see how that goes. Subtraction, you're not too bad, thanks. Difficult time plodding along as best we can for now. Glad you're well, mate. That's great to hear. Bless you. Right, so Mikkel, it's great to see. I love when saves develop across multiple clubs and leagues. Makes for so many cool little stories across the save. Exactly. Especially when smaller clubs become massive. I think it's really good to be able to kind of explore. I try and think of it like if we were a real manager. You know, most managers move across clubs. They're well. Why did that cut short? That's weird. Okay, so if you're on 2D Classic, it looks like it cuts it short. Maybe. That's my guess there. I'm crestfallen by that. Absolutely crestfallen by that. Right, let's see. Early on, we've got Theo down the left. Plays it back inside. That's nice. Roya to Kari. Kari with a great shot. Schultz pushes it behind. Can we get a good angle from vertical scrolling? We can't, so we go back to TV as Theo just narrowly wide. Narrowly wide. DM basis, I guess it's never, sometimes, maybe good. A metaphor for Reno's management career, to be fair. It is really, isn't it? It really is. So Leo asks, who do I want the Browns to draft? Well, I'll be honest with you, Leo. I'm hearing that we're taking calls about trading down, and I would be very, very much in favour of that. I think Travis Hunter will be a good player, but I just don't think that we're the kind of team that could take a player where we don't really know where their skill set's going to lie at the senior level. I think that Cam Ward is a good player, but again, not overly confident that that's the right pick. I'd love to see us trade down, even if we're going down into like the mid-10s, into say sort of like 15, 16, around there. We could potentially look at a very highly taken running back. I wouldn't mind Abdul Carter if we stay at 2. I love the idea of having both Garrett and Abdul Carter as our pass rush as Theo comes forward. Theo wins a penalty. It's a good run. I mean, we did ask you to dribble less, but you ignored me and you did good things as a result of it. So I'm very much in favour of that. Samantha asks, has anyone ever told you sound just like Miles? It has come up on these streams before. We are indeed. We're both from Hertfordshire, so it does kind of track. As Theo sends the keeper the wrong way, 1-0. That's good. That's a good start. I mean, not so much you can take from scoring from set pieces, but good play. We've had a couple of promising moments in the first 15 minutes or so here. Position-wise, we seem to be quite dominant, which is cool. Profundi with his wonderful afro plays it in. Here's Xerxes now. Xerxes with a shot. It's blocked. It's behind for a corner. Yes, they're both from a similar part of the world. Exactly, probably. Sagreevesy, thousands of hours into FM. And I still can't work out whether team fluidity genuinely impacts the way the teams play. Thought I'd ask the specialist. So fluidity is just essentially a measure of how many support roles you have compared to your mentality. It doesn't change the way you play, but it indicates how you're going to play. You know, when you've got more players on support, generally speaking, you've got shorter support distances between players. You don't find different units as isolated from one another. So having a flexible or fluid fluidity can help in terms of connecting and playing a passing game. That said, depending on where those roles are coming from, you can still achieve that within a structured setup as well. So it's really there just as a small bit of information as to how you're set up, rather than directly impacting. Yeah, okay, got to be happy with that. Not a single shot from Salzburg. A load of half chances or so for us, though. Let's see our shots there. A few from outside the area. And where are we losing the ball? That probably wasn't what I wanted to do. I want this one. So we're still losing the ball out in the wide areas. We can see Profundi there a lot. We can see 12 there a lot as well. That's kind of the things that we've kind of seen before. So we can definitely do better. Let's try you both as Caraleros. The second half. So we've got the overlap is going to encourage them to get forwards. Oh, do I want a complete wing back? Complete wing backs are more likely to drift a little bit. And so I think they might try things a little bit more inside, and we could take more risks off potentially. Let's do that in the second half. So yeah, some nice positive things to say about them going into the second half, and we'll see how it goes. Sherbs, you want for Broncos, you want a running back? Who is your running back at the moment? I honestly can't think. You've had Javonte Williams for a couple of years, haven't you? Yeah, who is the Broncos number one running back? Like Xerxes to Profundi blazes over. Not much of a highlight there, to be honest. I love Nick Chubb, obviously. He's now gone as far as I'm aware. I assume he's probably going to end up signing like a veteran minimum deal some point as the season gets closer. Someone will take a chance on him. Oh, Carmona! But yeah, such a shame that his knee went the way it did. We can't run with Jerome Ford, so we need to take a running back, and I'd love us to do so in like the second round, maybe the third. But once you get to that point, you never really know who's going to emerge. So we'll have to see. Profundi, that's a horrible challenge from James. That's got to be a red. Absolutely no doubt about that. Disgusting. Disgusting from Daniel James. How's it going? Welcome in, Morton. Lovely to see you, my dude. How was your weekend? So Sherbs, you don't know, you haven't had a 1,000-yard running back for like 10 plus seasons. You've had a couple of players who've looked kind of good and then ended up with injury issues. Who was it? Oh, I've picked up a couple of Broncos running backs for fantasy that have turned out okay, and that's my judgment there. Right, let's bring Profundi off for Balieri because of the yellow card. Let's get Theor some game time back in the run there. And let's give Fataru a little bit of a run out as well. Oh. I accidentally brought players on for the wing. Theor was at left back accidentally there. I'm not sure exactly what I've done there, but let's make sure we've got that right this time. There we go. There's still only 1-0, and we've had a couple of, again, not great chances. Momentum's in our favour. Still haven't had a shot from Salzburg. We know what that means. We desperately need a second goal because they're going to score with the one shot they have in like the 85th minute. And there it is. There it is.
Passing in the space and he would score a Lenny crossing to the box and he would score a Lenny do it by himself and he would score a Lenny yeah, Lenny passing in the space and he would score a Lenny crossing to the box and he would score a Lenny do it by himself and he would score a Lenny yeah, Lenny
That's what we needed. Just as I was saying that we need to get that goal before they score their inevitable one shot. They didn't. They had a shot, apparently for 0xG. Right, Theo now. Back to Theo. Theo across. Here's Nico. Nico, come on, Nico. How'd you miss from that? Over the bar from 6 yards out. Then we can make our last changes to see the game out. They will be Heze on and Liao on. Hopefully we should be able to see this out. So Chubbs, if we get Nick Chubb, I'll get a Chubb on. I mean, I'd used to get a Chubb on every week when Nick was out there, bless him. Morton, so you loved the Everton series so much. Well done. Thank you very much. We're not even finished yet. We're just 2 videos in, so the next one should be interesting. I've consulted with our resident Everton expert about the identity of Everton. And then I will duly ignore all of that as we plan our own style. 2-0. A goal from a penalty spot, a deflected headed effort, but we played well. So that's encouraging. Away from home, always happy to have a good performance. Get these guys rested up. So I'm thinking I want to try what we did in that second half. I take more risks off you and you. So we've still got that. We are going to be more expressive up front. Maybe work ball into box. There are a few too many shots from outside the area. I'd like to see us trying to play through the lines a little bit more. I will add work ball into box if we continue having more shots from distance in the next game. Let's just make those changes for the time being, I'm thinking. So this Draftcraft is really deep at running back. I wouldn't be worried about not getting one in the second or third round. So, I mean, yes, there are quite a lot of... I mean, generally speaking, picking up a running back around the third or fourth round is the approach I tend to prefer. But I quite like that if we like someone, make sure we take them. I know that there's always a perceived value there, but if we think that there is someone who can... okay. So again, if we went back 2 seasons ago and we still had Callahan as our offensive line coach, I'd feel confident that if there's someone we liked, we could take them maybe a little bit earlier than people were expecting to ensure that we get them. And that they could turn into a 1,000-yard runner in their first season, because Bill Callahan could work absolute wonders with the line. The way that he was getting up tackles and guards, performing at an elite level and still opening things up in the run game, made me feel like we could do absolutely anything. He left obviously to go join his son. The coaches we replaced him with all got sacked at the end of last season because we were awful in that regard. So I don't know how confident I necessarily feel about our line being able to create the gaps for a running back to succeed, which might therefore kind of make it worthwhile waiting a little bit later because they might not have the right environment for it. So kind of in one of two minds. Now, if we've got confidence in what we're going to be doing with our line going forward, yeah, take them high if you can. Khan can get behind a little bit of Elena Kana. Good man. So Sherbs, a lot of mock drafts you've seen have you drafting just some guy at number 23. So we'll see, I guess. I mean, I can say with great confidence, Sherbs, you will definitely draft some guy at some point. That is my high-tech analysis. It's weird because if we were to go back, say, even only just 3 or 4 seasons ago, I would get very, very invested in the pre-draft process. As a Browns fan, we'd often be picking right near the top, so that kind of makes sense. Then the Deshaun Watson trade happened, and subsequently we haven't had a first-round pick for so long that I've kind of stopped getting properly like dragged into the hype and all the excitement. I have a fear that we're going to take Cam Ward. Quarterback's an important position. Like, that's absolutely fine. I mean, he's also probably going to go number 1. I don't mean I've got a fear we've got going to take Cam Ward. I've got fear we're going to take Sanders. Cam Ward, I think, is a better option than Sanders, which isn't really saying much, to be fair. Right, let's get this. Let's focus and get this squad back to what we want exactly. So, Bove there. Xerxes, Elikana. Liao's the advanced forward. Yeah, let's go with that. Bove, Gonzalez. Balieri back in as the starter. Milenkovic, Beraldo, Royher. Cool. Do they play with an attacking midfielder? They do. So mark-specific player needs to stay there, and we should be cool. So Leo reckons that Amari and Hampton. That's fair. I mean, like, once you get past about 15, all the predictions in the draft board start to go to pot, though, don't they? Let's be fair. Let's go with the media one. We know it can be effective. Let's pick on these two. No reaction there. Let's make it back-to-back wins. That would be a nice way to start. It's Brian Prisk. Failed Feyenoord manager Brian Prisk. Such a shame it never quite worked out for him. What if some guy identifies as a girl or something else? That's fair. At which point they might take some girl. I don't think there's anyone that currently identifies as female within the draft process. So I can still feel reasonably confident they'll take some guy this year, but maybe on another year. FMGNG, would you be happy with Gabriel as a quarterback pick? Okay. Here's the other element. What I would really like us to do, and I hope this is what we've convinced Garrett on, and I doubt we have, is that we openly tank this season. Like, let's have absolute. Oh, that was a good corner. Rettegui steps in, comes away with the ball. Right, they've got someone covering the edge. So where's the one that's edge of area? Let's remove this routine for this bit here. Yeah, so I hope we've convinced them that what we're going to do is we're going to sack off Deshaun Watson. We're going to take the dead money hit. We're going to accept that we're going to suck this year. We're going to pick up a couple. We're going to trade down. We're going to pick up picks for future years. And we're basically going to hope to develop a couple of 2nd and 3rd round picks this year in with eyes on the draft next year. That's when we take our quarterback. That's when we potentially take a defensive end as well. And that everyone's kind of on board with that. And maybe we will ship off one of our cornerbacks. Hopefully not Denzel Ward, but I wouldn't again be too adverse to it because we could probably get something decent. As Ruggieri from the angle. Maximiano stays tall, pushes it behind. Liao's going to take the corner. He sends it into the far post. Maximiano, an easy gather there. Yeah, so happily, I'd rather wait until next year, and who knows what the lie of the land is going to be like in a year's time. You know, often at this point in the process, the player that you expect is going to be the number one draft pick next year isn't. So yeah, I will hold fire on what my predictions or feelings are there. So Pat's fan here, you hope that Hunter falls to us at number 4. I mean, it's possible, certainly possible. So Will Campbell, I've seen linked a lot with the Pats, absolutely. Rafael Leao, oh Leao, I've got a song for you, score for me. Right, Bellanova. Oh, okay, we've seen this story before, haven't we? Right, it's from a free kick, Sassy into the far post. It's headed away by Rogeri. Bellanova gathers a second ball, beats his man nicely. That cross across the box, I mean, it made its way through to Estanis, but Retegui was unmarked as well. Right, another game where we've looked good. We've looked good, but we are finding ourselves 1-0 down. Here's Bove. So that was... We might need to go back up to attacking there. That was on support with an overlap, and they just stand behind the play. Right, to Nico to Milenkovic. Here's Profundi. Profundi sends the cross in. Helena Kane is the target. It's going to take a lot to score from there. He does get his head to it, and it's over harmlessly. 72% of the ball, but only 8 chances created. Let's go for those low crosses, like the one that we just conceded to. So let's pop these guys on attack. We did have Caraleros in the last game. We're not going to work the ball into box because we're not taking loads of shots from the edge of the area. Let's increase that tempo. Let's just play with a little bit more sense of urgency, I hope. Yeah, he's the tackle who might project as a grade at the senior level. There's right from the kickoff. Wala Egeli sends the cross in. Profundi just hoofs it out of there. Hoof it out. From the throw in, are we going to see a chance? We're not. That's all right. So 10 minutes into the second half, well, 5 minutes in at the moment. Xerxes with a free kick, easily claimed by Maximiano. It's our just the one shot in 10 minutes. So let's push these guys. Try and get these guys pushing into areas more. Although they should still hold the width because they're the only ones out there right now. Actually, no, if we're going to push those guys up, stay wider, tackle harder. Stay wider, tackle harder.
It's not the statistics! It's not the statistics! You tell me, how do you measure somebody that could balance a balloon in a wind tunnel on a needle?
Bless you, Leo. Thank you very much. The subscription with a Prime. You only get one of those. You've chosen to use it here. I really appreciate it. Thank you very much. So yeah, if we're going to be pushing these guys up, we're going to ask these guys essentially to be Caraleros by telling them to stay wider. Tackle harder there. And I think, yeah, we keep him on that role there. We're bringing on Bonato. We're bringing off Leao. So we're going to ask Xerxes to be the complete forward. Elena Kana to be the advanced forward. Let's see how that goes in the second half. Bill's in. Welcome in, Bill Houdini. Had a short Easter trip, but you're back now, refreshed. Well, welcome back. Did you go anywhere exciting? Right, Bonato with the corner. There's our train of players in the middle. Elenikain is the target. He can't get there, but Milenkovic, that keeps the pressure on. Crossed in. Vuskovic gets it cleared. Bundy. Across, it's cut out by Sassi. Here comes Torino on the break. Sassi loses out once again to the marvellously haired Profondi, and we move the ball back. Beraldo out to Nico. Here's Ruggeri. Ruggeri doesn't play the pass there. Holds on to it, moves back to Theor. Bernardo to Profundi. It's a great save from Maximiano. A cracking save from the keeper there, but we should be level at that point. Bernardo sends it in. It's Elenikain rising, but Vuskovic gets there, and they manage to get it clear. Torino staying ahead, but losing the ball out to Ruggeri. Here's Bove. Back to Ruggeri. To Nico. Beraldo. Ruggeri. Cross to Bove. Here's Profundi again. Profundi doesn't hit it quite as cleanly this time. It bounces, though, dangerously in front of the keeper. He has to turn it round the post. Ruggeri is going to take the corner. Pressure is rising on Torino in the last 10 minutes or so, but Maximiano makes the catch, and that's the pressure off. Profundi with the throw-in. Plays it into Milenkovic. And here we go. We're pushing forwards. It's a loose pass, but it's come through to Bernardo. Bernardo beats his man. Back to Bove. Bove with a shot from distance. Now we need to say, hey guys, get it into the box. I think we might be going to a 3-1-2-2 in a moment as well. We're going to... Oh. This player is going to be... I'm going to ask you to hold position. So we're going to have Fataru in that role, hopefully getting beyond Xerxes. Let's make him a target forward rather than a deep lying forward. We're saying, hey, you're our man that we should be aiming for a little bit. So FMG, if you ever watch the film Draft Day, you'll know Kevin Costner has a trick up his sleeve. That's very true. That is very true indeed. Bill, you don't know if Budapest is exciting. Budapest is definitely exciting. That sounds wonderful. That sounds absolutely brilliant. How was it? Profundi. Come on. A late equaliser. Milenkovic. Across to Beraldo. Beraldo feeds Bernat. Wow. I'm cursed. I am cursed. Serie A beats me. Elenikain now. Coming away with it down on the left. There's only 30 seconds left. He plays it across to Profundi. Plays it. Here we go, Elenikain. Theor. Delightful ball. Spots the run of Elenikain. Elenikain is in behind on his stronger left foot. Turns away from goal. Oh my. Oh my, oh my, oh my. Ruggeri with the corner. Claimed by Maximiano. That should be the final whistle. And we are heading for our third defeat in 11 games in Serie A. He just gets rid of it. Beraldo gathers. Beraldo pisses around on the ball. Ruggieri into Fataru. Fataru, now he finds Bonato. Bonato, though, beaten to the ball by Raul Bellanova. Papetti gets into Pepelu. Where's that whistle, ref? Come on, ref, put us out of our misery. How long? It's been a minute now since minute has been played, and there we go. This reminds me of a save you saw last week, doesn't it just, Erichel? Doesn't it just? Oh, well, we fixed things. We have fixed things. We looked to find out what it was that we were struggling with. We made changes. We dominated the game. Absolutely dominated the game. And it's the same outcome. So there we go. Is this going to be some kind of like ongoing thing with the Moneyball, AC Moneyball save didn't go well. Napoli didn't go well. Now we've lost 3 of our opening 11 games in the league. What games do we have between us and the transfer window opening? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We do have a slightly, I was going to say a nicer run, but that game against Torino is a game we should be winning. So who knows what a nicer run is? Oh well. Oh well. And so it's a nice chill boys trip, says Bill. Enjoyed the morning walks and the night shots of Palinka, a local and very strong drink. Palinka is, it's an experience. It's an experience, that's for sure. Discuss issue with Heza. You can bugger right off. I will let you go. Don't come to me after that result, Heza. Oh, what on earth are you doing, you silly, silly man? You can F right off, and you can F right off to the lowest possible team I can sell you to. Right, so Cagliari did lose their game last weekend. So we expect Milan, Inter should jump above us. Napoli should be able to pull away a little bit as well, but it's still early on in the season, so that's not too much of a concern in those regards. Napoli have got Hellas Verona. Inter don't play until tomorrow, I'm guessing. Would one call vodka Red Bull a local drink in Austria? I mean, vodka, I see what you're saying with the Red Bull connection. But surely the local drinks is it's kind of like the alcohol part of it, right? Surely. It was a beautiful pass by Theoti, wasn't it just, Mantoras? Wasn't it such a delightful pass? Why he turned away, we'll never know. But we had plenty of chances before that. I mean, that Profundi one as well was a really nice save from Maximiano. We were wasteful with our finishing, which is a little bit of a shame. I do think that so Rafael Leao scored on like the first game of the season. After that, he got injured, so we haven't really had a chance to see the best of him. Whilst this is going to continue, let's pop on over and do a little mini game. And that mini game we're going to start with is going to be a traditional round of Guess the Player. So if you're new to these streams or you haven't been here before whilst we've played these mini games, let me explain how this works. You're going to see 4 pictures from a player's profile in FM24, one after the other. Your job is to guess who the player is from that information. You're going to see the positions they play, their attributes and traits, their coach report, and then the clubs they've played for. Now, there will be people that will guess Carlos Valderrama because they're hilarious. Oh, look, Crodmo's done it. There, who knows? That picture is just a placeholder. That's got nothing to do with this round. The idea is that the earlier you guess, the more points you get. So 5 points if you guess in the first round, 3 points for the second round, 2 for the third round, 1 if you get it on the last clue. So without no further ado, let's head on over to the very first clue that we've got here. And this is a defensive midfielder. What a boring role. What a boring role that they are. They could be a ball... Oh, pardon me. They could be a ball-winning midfielder. They could be an anchor. A half-back, maybe a deep-lying playmaker. What they're not is they are not a regista. And so the guesses are coming in. Could it be Declan Rice? Could it be Rodri? Another guess for Rice as well. Some fabulous guesses. It is not Declan Rice. It is not Rodri. It's not Wilfred Ndidi either. And fabulous guess. Absolutely fabulous guess. Zerachul coming in with De Jong, maybe Guimaraes or Polina, Thiago, Edson Alvarez. There are some absolutely wonderful guesses coming in. It is none of those players right now. Now, one thing to note is that they do have a strong right foot. They're quite weak with their left foot. I don't know if that's enough for them to be considered right only. But we've got, okay, what other guesses have we got coming in here now? We've got Anana, we've got Kroos, we've got Tielemans. So Kwan is thinking that maybe I've gone down the Aston Villa route. That's a fair guess to go for. Sadly, no dice on that one. Which means it's also not Ian Taylor. Could it be Chouameni or Thomas Souček or Samare? We've got another guess coming in for Rice and Anguissa. These are all fabulous guesses. But let's pop on over to the next bit. Let's see their attributes. See if that helps at all. Kind of get a feel for, you know, this player is someone that is very, very good mentally. Great work rate, great teamwork, great positioning, great determination, great anticipation. They're not bad technically, don't get me wrong, but there's nothing that special at them technically. Natural fitness. They can't jump. They bend their knees, they then extend them, they just kind of virtually stay in the same spot, bless them. So could it be Sangare, Bentancur, Tino Luis, Edison, Polina Brozovic, Jorginho, James Ward-Prowse, Caicedo, some very, very interesting guesses there. PBS Smoothie wonders whether it's an older player, perhaps because they're very good in terms of the mental aspect, but not elsewhere. You know, they might be, they might not be. So it's a bad guess, didn't see the height. Sangare is like 6'3", he is indeed. Whereas this gentleman is just 5'10". Could it be Coop Miners or Carvalho or Jordan Henderson? Some wonderful guesses there. Some very, very, very interesting guesses there. We've not quite got there though. So we've got plays short, simple passes, comes deep to get the ball, does not dive into tackles. So he's got 15 aggression, but doesn't like to dive into tackles, which is quite interesting. We've got guests coming in for Kondogbia, Chouameni again. We've got Guendouzi, Brian Cristante. These are all fine guesses, but we're not there yet. So let's move on to the next clue. And the next clue tells us that this player plays in the Elite Serie, which, you know, that's a little bit unexpected, I must confess. They are a star at that level. They're close to their full potential, but that doesn't say that they're in their prime. Something to be aware of. And so as soon as that comes in, we had a guess for Darun. Then we had Berg, Naipan, Breivik, Was. We're now along the right tracks. And the question is really beyond any of that is who got there first? Because who got there first was indeed Zerachul. It is indeed Werder Glimt midfielder Patrick Berg. What country is that? It's Norway, RJ. It is the Norwegian league. And Patrick Berg, I think he's generally quite a traditional good value signing in FM. So I went for someone that we could kind of recognise from the game itself. Solbakken was a reasonable guess as well. Alfie Inga Haaland was an awful guess, but that's what I expect. Thank you for throwing the game squad, mate. Johnny Trotter comes in with 2 rounds of applause. Absolutely. It's Morton's home country as well, and you were both there, like, so little between you. I saw them rattle through at almost exactly the same time. Incredible stuff. The Quez reckons that Glimt is going to smash Spurs. I hope so. I really hope so. So Mantoris didn't know him, but now I do and I like him. Patrick Berg is like if you pop back, I'm not a man who plays with attributes, but he looks like a pretty good all-round player. And generally speaking, I think is a bit on the cheaper side. So definitely worth checking out in FM if you haven't before. Right, we got forward. We managed to progress about a week whilst that game was going on. We've got people away on international duty, but we're going to use these friendlies to try and get some players up to nice and fresh. Kari, Liao. The rest of those guys can have it off. And now that I've done that in that friendly, we're going to lose like 3 players to injury. Now, knowing our luck. So you hope Spurs wins, Zerachul. No, let them get through to the final at least. Please stop an English team from winning. Like if it was an English team that was doing well, that would be absolutely fine. But it is atrocious that both Tottenham and Tottenham and Man United seasons could be saved. Could be saved by the Europa League. I said I do want Amorim to do well. I do kind of like Ruben Amorim. Okay, maybe Man United could win the whole thing. I don't, to be fair, I don't dislike Ange. I know I give him a hard time because he refuses to adapt at all. But he's quite fun. And that counts for something, right? It's got to count for, like, just a little bit. Right, Stefan Bajic is no longer concerned about playing. He threw a strop for 2 weeks. In that time, we played 2 games. He played neither of them. Well done, Stefan. I think I am... Are you still transfer listed? You are indeed. Beautiful. I'm still selling you. Elena Kane is going to be out for a couple of weeks. That's a little bit of a bugger. Yeah, but... So, yeah, he'll miss the Genoa game. He will miss the Zagreb game. Probably miss the Cagliari game. Maybe back in time for Bari. Suppose isn't too bad. We've got... Maybe we'll give Fatara a bit of a run out up front. See how that goes. Welcome in, Eddie. How you doing, my dude? How you doing? How was your weekend? I hope you're keeping well. Krez says Glimt have had a lot of players who've been sold and then come back, but played well again. That should be a recipe for being bargains in FM. I mean, that is the case with Berg, isn't it? But I mean, we've not just Glimt. Wonder Kid that went to Benfica, who also did that. Shelder up. It seems to be that there seems to be a thing going on where players leave and then kind of come crawling back after a couple of years because the teams that signed them have no proper development plan in place. So yeah, I mean, yeah. So Kwan wants Man United to get relegated. The fans are noise pollution. I mean, there was something. Whether I imagine this is the same every country around the world, because I live in England, it's where I experience it. But there was something in England, especially, that when a team is reasonably good, and by reasonably good, they don't have to have won the league. They could have finished top 4 for a couple of seasons in a row. And all of a sudden, their fans become so insufferable and entitled. And I get it. I get that you then want that little bit of Schadenfreude to kind of balance things out. Sherbs, did I see Phil Krug's press conference after our bottle job on the weekend? He was not happy, was he? He was not happy. I can understand why you'd want him to be captain. I mean, that is the attitude you kind of want to see. Especially, well, it depends. I certainly get the impression that he was on Graham Potter, he is aligned with what Potter wants from the ideas that it sounded like. But if he was saying half of us were doing this and the manager wanted him to do something else, then it's a little bit worse. But yeah, I can completely see the appeal to that. Very, very brutally honest. Welcome in, Roman. So you just got promoted to the Premier League. You're playing a 5-3-2 with a low block. I was very good defensively for the first half of the season, but all of a sudden you're conceding 4xG a game. Has anything changed, Roman? Maybe you've had a couple of injuries. Maybe your players are getting a little bit tired. Or maybe you've just had a bad run. Maybe you started off the season with a little bit of luck, and that kind of momentum built the morale, which kind of meant that you played better in the first half. And there's some problems you might need to solve. Have a look through some of the games. See if there's any players that aren't doing the thing that you want them to do. Maybe there's a little tweak you can make to the tactic there. Maybe you're struggling to protect your wide players. Maybe you're struggling to protect the in front of the defense. Maybe your defensive midfielders aren't quite doing what needs to be done. But yeah, if you look through, I'm sure you'll be able to find it. Oh, that's big. That's big. Sassuolo beat Blue Neri. Here's a chance for us to jump back above Inter, potentially. And to do that, we will have Valieri, Milenkovic, Geraldo. Welcome back, Theo. Theo is fit enough to play. That's cool. Right, okay. Okay. We have an ad coming up. So let's disappear on that break. Let's do the standard piss, drink, and vape. I will see you guys in about 3 minutes. It's me, Ronnie, by the way. Welcome on in. Lovely to see you. I do apologise to suddenly disappear. And thank you, Dr. Pusky, for the follow. I will see you guys in about 3 minutes. All right, back. Let's head straight into the game. So with Elena Kano out, Fataru comes in as an advanced forward. We move the complete forward over to the right, and that will be Xerxes. Benato back into the starting lineup for this one. And we are going to point our fingers at them, and we're going to tell them that we should be winning this comfortably. But I have faith in them. I have faith. I trust them to make the difference. There is no attacking midfielder in this particular setup, so we'll remove mark specific player. And let's get to it. So the quiz, it's not only that they get entitled and all that, it's also that the big clubs usually attract fans with horrible takes. I think that's ultimately the element of the size of fandom, right? So, like, I don't support a big club. I support Aston Villa, and I have awful takes. I regularly have awful takes. But there are fewer Aston Villa fans, so they're less likely to... There are less people who would then interact with my bad takes, which means that they get seen less and so forth. So I feel like there are bad takes everywhere for every team. It's just that you're more likely to see them surface with the bigger clubs. Yeah, Liverpool fans are the worst, says Crudmo. That's fair. I mean, although Liverpool hasn't made anything great since the Titanic. Too soon, Zerichel. Too soon. And that's not true either. I mean, Liverpool have made Echo and the Bunnyman. Echo and the Bunnymen. And Cast. And a Flock of Seagulls. Oh no, don't concede. Okay, first chance goes to Genoa. That's worrying. Right, he's sitting up. I'm sitting up now. That's never a good sign. Oh, that's a lovely ball over the top. Fatawu. Can he get the ball in? He can. There's Xerxes. That's what we needed.
The being Paul Burkham, and knockout Bubadov, gonna score Xerxes. It's about time for his arrival.
Such a shame that I'm sat down, because otherwise I would have slut dropped immediately. So it's me, Ronnie. You've just won the SPL and Cup double with hits in Season 2. That's incredible, sir. Absolutely incredible. Congratulations. So Dr. Pusky says, as a Benfica fan, I have no clue what the development plan for Shelder up. He should have had a lot more playtime than now. Even worse, we also have another wonder kid called Prestiani. Paid 11 million for him. He doesn't even get called up for the B team. Oh my. I mean, oh, here's Fatawu in behind. There we go. That's 2-0. But is it offside? What we saying here? It looks like it's going to be disallowed, and it is. It looked okay to me, but evidently not. Banato into Xerxes, first time round the corner, and yeah, okay. No argument with that. No argument with that. It was a bad finish as well. It looked like it was potentially going to be off target. Here's Omaroa. Now, Genoa did have the first chance of the game, so we can't get too carried away, but we have had the ball in the back of the net twice. Something we struggled with in the last game, so there we go. Here's Xerxes now. Xerxes overruns the ball. Get it clear, only as far as Beraldo. Beraldo feeds Nico. Nico tries turning it around the corner. It comes back to him. Kari from the edge of the area. Oh, Kari. That could have been nice. Just inches wide. So, hey, Benfica fan. I'm not alone at last. Welcome in. We've had a few Benfica fans in every now and then. No, not the Beatles. Not the Beatles, Ronnie. Not the Beatles. They're rubbish. They can't. They're not fit to play the guitar of a band like Cast. Who else are Liverpool bands? There's got to be some other bad ones in there. Like, maybe it's unfair, but Cast and A Flock of Seagulls are both bands that are the Mersey Beats. The Mersey Beats as well. Let's include them in the list of bands that are better than the Beatles, allegedly. Right, here's Nico. Finds Xerxes. Xerxes touches heavy again. Fatawu shot his shit again. I think we just need better strikers. We bought Xerxes. That's on me. His touch has let him down quite a lot. Fatawu is meant to be the backup for a reason. Elena Kane has been good for us. Liao we still haven't really seen the best of. And I think that if we could get Saudi interested, he'd be a player I wouldn't necessarily be adverse to getting rid of. Here's the cross. Caprile Kames. Liverpool created chicken and chips with a can of Coke. A classic. You can't go wrong with that. Oh, that was poor from Milenkovic. Here comes Lamine. He sends the cross in twice. Elic into the side netting. That was some very, very bad defending. In fact, that could be the explanation for that. That's a fair description of both their chances. Here, Murray just hoofs it away. A chance for us to reset. Now, Beraldo. Nico's splitting out. There's the support. Theo cuts inside. Finds Bonato. Back to Theo. Nico now. Right. Theo Cuts inside again. That's nice. Kari with the take. Kari drives down the left, takes a shot on his weaker foot, and it was always going over. Nickname 123321. Welcome on in, my dude. How are you, sir? I hope you're doing well. How was your weekend? Nkunku finds Murray. Murray shoots across the angle, and that goes wide. So, Milenkovic is another player we signed, and I'm not all that impressed with him so far. I think we're going to bring him off at half-time. There's that loose pass. A couple of those chances are coming down his side as well. Here's Xerxes. That's a good touch this time from Xerxes. Xerxes, there we go.
Special word, Xerxes, the bean pole cam, Xerxes, and knockout bubble off, Xerxes, gonna score Xerxes, it's about time for his arrival.
That was a much better touch. He then takes another. I thought the chance might have gone there, but he powers it in at the near post. Canizares, could he have done a little bit more? He did. He only went down on 1-0. He did have a big frame, but you're always going to be disappointed conceding at your near post like that. I said, it's not only size, it's also the fact that many have just picked the most top of mind club. Absolutely. Here's Fatawu. Okay. Any criticism of Canizares can be put to bed there. What a fantastic save. When that little thought goes into it, the rest follows. That's fair. This is Urchel. When you ask Google about Liverpool, Liverpool has been a centre of invention and innovation. Railways, transatlantic steamships, municipal. Oh, what another good save, but offside? I'm guessing, okay. Municipal trams and electric trains. So they are the home of transportation. Is that Abdul Fatawu? It is indeed Leo. He was at the club when we joined. I mean, I imagine, if I'm being brutally honest, I think that the players that I would like to keep out of this squad after 13, 14 games, when you include the Champions League as well, currently stands as Benato, Elena Kane, Nico. Theo's like 33 now, last year's contract, so he's probably going to go. Maybe a couple of the young defenders as well. But they're all quite young and raw. Not many of these players I'd necessarily want to keep. Pardon me. It's funny hearing Norwegians complaining about British cities. I mean, but they're right though, aren't they? They are absolutely right. Right. It's me, Ronnie. What would you like the new gen to be named? What we will do is we will pick, we'll basically go into the the youth squad, and we'll take the top. Oh, Fatawu. It's another great save from Canizares. It was offside once again. But ever since I said that Canizares would be disappointed, he's made some brilliant saves. Teaches me for saying those things out loud. Again, I expect more from us in the second half. So yeah, so what we do is we will take the top rated new gen within the youth setup already. Actually, do we? Well, no, we'll take it from the senior team. We'll take it because we've just invested the squad. That's absolutely fine. But yeah, you let us know what the name is that you would like to give. So Emeru Hesuki. Let's go for it. Cool. We'll do that after the game so we can look through the squad appropriately. Right. Yellow cards are an issue. So let's make those changes. I was going to bring on Brignoni anyway. So that change is easy. Profundi comes on there. Xerxes stays there. Benato, I think Benato's done well this half. I'm surprised he's only on a 6.7. We can run with that. Let's do the you can play better and see how things go in the second half. We did give up a couple of chances, so we're not out of this at the moment, especially with the way our form's been. Right, here's Nkunku. Plays it back to Maturo. Is this actually going to be a highlight, or is this just going to be one of these, hey, the game's kicked off, so we're going to show the first 30 seconds or so of nothingness? Maybe not. Here's Omaroa. Finds Vitinho. Vitinho gets across into the far post. Caprile claims. Nice and easy. So, hey bro, what highlight settings do you use? I like using, for the sake of content, I like using as follows. Vertical scrolling, which will be full zoom, lowest camera height. It's one of the camera angles where you can get closest to the players. I just find that quite interesting. It's Profundi. Oh, Profundi's could have easily had 3 or 4 goals this season already. He's getting into good positions. They're good shots. they're good shots in defence. So Nico, that was a bit weird. That could have been 3-0 there. Right, Lamine is going to take this free kick, sends it in. We get it clear. Xerxes comes away with the ball. Whilst we're doing that, we're going to tell Nico to ease off. Xerxes still has it. Xerxes drives inside and Kunku sweeps up the danger. Only cleared as far as Theor. Nico takes aim from distance and that is harmlessly over. So Dr. Pusky, do you mind showing the tactic after the match ends? Sure. Yeah, no worries at all. That's a nickname. You had a great weekend. How is the Italian adventure treating you? It's bad, nickname. It's bad. We've lost now 3 games in our opening 11 league matches. We spent a long time at the beginning of this stream looking through highlights from our previous games where we had a bad run on Friday, making some changes. We then absolutely dominated our next league game and lost to the only shot. So Crudmo seems to be come out fighting today. Here's Xerxes, finds Fataru. Touched, fortunately, a little bit behind him. So we have to recycle it. Now Kari, here's Fataru. Fataru makes it 3-0. Thank you very much. That makes me feel a little bit more comfortable now. So yeah, you can pitch it. Living in a hitter. No electricity or running water. Going out early in the morning to break the ice on the lake to do some fishing. Taking any fish you can catch and burying them underground for ages until they rot. I mean, sounds good, doesn't it? Doesn't it sound good? Storing potatoes to make akavit as well. I mean, why would we want any of this modern nonsense? Okay, so we can make some changes, I think, around the 70-minute mark. Yeah, the game's pretty much petered out now. So we will look at the players that are on bookings. That means we can bring Bove back on. Okay, I'm going to make a double change. I know that Xerxes is on a hat-trick. Let's see what it's like having the trequartista in that role. Just putting him on a support role. The game should be safe from here. Benato with a free kick. It's a lovely, lovely free kick. Turned around the post once again by Canizares. He's had a funny game as Canizares. And wrestling bears while running around with wood under your feet. The Bears immediately after says fighting with a polar bear as well. I mean, again, that sounds pretty good to me. Sounds pretty damn good to me. There isn't a polar bear emote, unfortunately. It's a shame. It's a shame. Right, here's Profundi. Back to Theor. Bove finds Liao. Liao back to Bove. Someone takes a shot. It hits off the bar. Oh, Kari, that's a couple of good shots from distance from Kari. One narrowly wide in the first half. The other slamming off the bar in the second half there. Right, Beraldo to Theo. Fernandez finds Liao. Here's Kari running forwards again. Kari plays it on the outside. Carmona, and it hits the post. Bove can't quite get it under control, and they get it clear. Better in the second half, I would say. I mean, we were winning 2-0 in the first half. We had that big spell where nothing much happened, but we haven't seen Genoa create any chances, which is the thing that's quite encouraging. But no, right on cue. Right on cue. Here we go. And Kunku with the corner. Comes. Leao gets it clear. And Kunku has it once more. He's going to find Kurtulus to Dwyer. God, please end the highlight here. Mendy. Because the point was just that they haven't had any shots in the second half. So if we manage to somehow prevent them having a shot here, that counts, and I'm completely wrong to be cynical. And it looks like we might have done it. We might have got rid of the danger. Is this going to be our attack? Here's Bove. It's going to find Liao into Pinato nice and quickly. Here's Kari. Kari finds Carmona. It's a good touch once again, and it forces a great save out of Canizares. Good play from Carmona twice. 2 identical chances. That ball sort of running on the outside. Takes a nice touch. Here's Kari over the bar. So maybe that's what we won with in the next game in the Champions League against Dynamo Zagreb. Here's Benato. Benato with a shot. Get in, Benato. 4-0. maybe that's what we're going to try in the next game then. So trequartista up front, potentially. It's good football that it was. It was. The obligatory one shot, one goal didn't happen. I'm shocked, Serichal. Genuinely shocked. Cool. I think that counts as a pretty good performance. Lamine sends the ball over the top. Brignoni reads it well, plays it back to Caprile. The last 10 seconds or so, just running off the clock now. Kare into Bonato, finds Leao. Leao runs outside, holds it up, comes back. That's just toying with them now. Absolutely playing with your dinner. Finds Profundi. Profundi crosses it low. Maturo cuts it out. Nkunku sends it long. And surely, referee, that's the final whistle. It is indeed. It is indeed. Much better. Much better, that game. So what I really liked in that first half.
We are in Champions League, man.
That was my next
Dilly
question.
din, dilly dong, come on.
Cool, so Cagliari can still jump above us with their game in hand. Fiorentina can get level with us. We're back within 3 points of Napoli though, which is massive. Can feel a little bit better of that. So in the first half, we saw them doing the cutting inside with ball, which is cool because it stops them getting isolated and losing the ball. So I'm really happy with that regard. We saw players running in behind. So those things are good. Milenkovic, I was disappointed with. So let's do step number 1. Mr. Puski, Dr. Puski, I do apologise, you're a doctor, not a mister. I need to recognise your qualifications. This is the formation we're using. So we take a out of possession approach, very similar to what Unai Emery was doing in his early days with Villa. So it's a very high defensive line, but a mid block. We look to push play outside and defend as narrow as we possibly can. So the idea is that our press starts from the front. They're going to drop back into that mid block, and they're going to hopefully force the play out to the fullbacks and let them come onto us. That way, our midfield then shifts over accordingly to help defend. In transition, we counter press because we always counter press, and we roll it out to build up from deep.
It's not the statistics. It's not the statistics. You tell me, how do you measure somebody that could balance a balloon in a wind tunnel on a needle?
It's not the statistics. It's not the statistics. Out Farby, what a gentleman you are. You've now been subscribed for 7 months. That is obscene. That is crazy. Thank you very much. That is 7 months is yes, I was going to say for a moment I thought I hadn't even been streaming for 7 months, but I must have been. But yeah, that is incredible. The math does check out. So yeah, in possession, we're looking to kind of keep control of the ball. We're using a diamond because we started to see other teams in the save using a diamond. So I wanted to be influenced by what's happening in the game world. So we've seen the diamond. It does kind of make sense as well, being in Italy, where it can, there's a nice bit of history with the shape, especially with Milan. So we're still going to be changing, and what you see now is likely to be different by the end of the season and for next season and so forth. So do you use the Cavallero to cover the complete wing-backs ones? Kind of, yes. So the Cavalleros do cover laterally, but they also cover laterally this way as well. So they help shift across. We've sometimes been using central midfielders on support. We've been using Mazzalas. There are a number of configurations that we will probably try out as the course of the season goes. But yeah, obviously all the width comes from the wing backs. The central midfielders are primarily going to be part of that build-up structure, that 2-3 shape we have, because we have the wing backs being the width. They form the front 5 with these 3 in central positions already. So we kind of don't want our central midfielders being too attacking in that regards. Now let's get these guys rested. Yeah, we'll bring in Brignoni for the next game, and we'll try the trequartista advance forward setup from the start for the next one as well. And then, okay, so we need to name Emeru Hasuki. Emeru Hasuki will probably be, so we have a few that we can call upon. We've got Tommaso Profundi as a player that we signed over the course of the summer, so we can expect him to be around for a little while. He's a new arrival. We've got Claudio Brignoni. He was here when we joined. I like the idea of Brignoni. He looks like a bit of a unit, right? He looks like a bit of a unit. And Hasuki makes me think of Heskey. So I've got a feeling like that could be an Emeru Hasuki. We've got Kamil Wojcik. Kamil Wojcik was signed again before we were there. Another one with a fine head of hair. A libero. Very, very classy. Left-footed. Got Eduardo De Feo. He has played a couple of games, as you can see. We've started him a couple of times. We've brought him on. Why Heskey? Well, Hasuki looks very much like Heskey. If you remove the U, you'd pronounce it Heskey, right? And Heskey was a unit. That's why I feel like Brignoni's a unit, Heskey's a unit. That's what comes in my head. We have Demi Roja is on loan, so I doubt we'd be keeping hold of him. Ilan Siklic is a player that we're training to become a defensive midfielder. He's now 21 years old. Could be an option there as well. Emmanuel Balieri. We are essentially, he's keeping Profundi out of the starting lineup. We like the look of Balieri, but weren't certain if he was ready for the first team. Seems to be doing all right in that regard, however. So there is a possibility that Balieri is going to play quite a lot of games. So you've got me. It's Japanese for Emil Heskey. There we go. Perfect. Who else do we have? We then have Paolo Bonato, my inverted winger that we're using behind the striker. So we've been using him as a trequartista, advanced playmaker, as you've seen before there. He's fickle. He's now 23 years old. So he probably should have more first team games by now, but I really like the look of Bonato. I think he's a player we're going to be building around for the foreseeable future. You called it with a centre-back. Only right we go for him. Perfect. So I said that Claudio Brignoni was going to start the next game, but I was wrong. It's going to be Emeru Hasuki who starts the next game. So there we go. Emeru Hasuki will be our new starting centre-back, pushing new signing Milenkovic out of the starting lineup. So Dr. Pussy, yeah, makes total sense. Really love you adjusting the formation according to what the rest of the teams are doing. I think it's nice to try and see. Oh, how about that for timing? What the? $95k per week. Oh, it's just made me realise. Let me get this changed firstly over to euros. 110k per week. That is... The contracts here are all ridiculous. Right, like, I can't get my head round. We've got Rafael Leao is on 375,000 euros a week. Bove's on 325,000. Nico is on 375,000. Berardo, I think, is on something great. Beraldo even. He's on 325k. Yeah, the wages here, absolutely crazy. Theor's on 300k. But I would have expected that if he had any clause, it would have been closer to someone like Heza, 63k. Kari here's on 100. Kari's on 140. I'm never going to get used to these values. These are just crazy money. And we had to give Xerxes 150k, and I thought that was far too much. Caprile we got in for 155. Milenkovic we signed for 80 grand. So I suppose compared to Milenkovic, 110 isn't too much more, but we've got a massive wage budget as well, right? So we've got 92.5 million pound transfer budget, euro transfer budget, and we've got over €1 million per week in wages. So, you know, it's not like it's an issue, but still, that is crazy. That is crazy. So Claire says, am I right that Cavalleros more naturally overlap with wingbacks? I use a 3-4-2-1 with Cavalleros. I feel it works better now. Very likely it's because the players are better though. So, this is a really, really tricky one as well, because there's only one default formation in the game where you can have wingbacks in the wingback slot and use Cavalleros, and that is the 3-5-2 DM, I believe it's called. Not this formation. Let's unpick so they don't all end up in wrong positions. It's the 5-3-2 DM. So that's the only one that has midfield, the only 5-man defense that has midfielders in positions where you can use a Cavallero. So it's a little bit weird in that regard. But the Cavallero doesn't just go wide. It's meant to just be lateral. I do expect that I will, on occasions, we did see like Nico drifting out into those wide spots. So let me clear that out. What tends to happen is when you've got I don't want to change the formation. Right, okay, let's do it here. When we head into the final third, we're kind of looking something like this, right? Aren't we? So this is the 2-3-5. Now, Cavalleros, I find that generally speaking, any role in these positions will kind of pick up the ball in these spots every now and then, and that means that you will occasionally see them overlap if these guys cut inside. Whether that's a Cavallero, a Mazzala, or some of the roles that don't have it. The only ones that I don't see it on tend to be deep line playmaker, a defensive central midfielder, or a defensive ball winning midfielder. But box to box midfielders, roaming playmakers, advanced playmakers, central midfielders, and any of those other roles, I tend to see them not regularly, but occasionally enough drifting out there. When you play in a 3-2, I tend to see that exact same behaviour from the outside centre backs, whether that you're playing them as centre backs or inverted full backs or half backs or wide centre backs. Most obviously, they still tend to do that same thing, is that they tend to be the ones that support underneath, and because they support underneath, that then occasionally creates situations where they're able to break forwards and overlap, regardless of what role they've necessarily got. But that's purely my reading of what I've seen, and that can be confirmation bias as well. Like I've seen it a few times and then gone, that must be why it happens. A proper goat, that Heskey. Heskey is a proper goat. So Ennis, welcome in. Where do we look at the physical data of the football player in his skin? So in this skin, if you want to look at the attributes, so when I look at the attributes, I have a lovely little dot here where I can see the attributes. But I use that so infrequently now. We spent a bit of time when we first took over the team because we didn't have any data. We joined after the season had rolled over and we didn't have much scouted. But generally speaking, I will focus almost exclusively on the pizza charts. Molly Gaming, welcome in. Lovely to see you. How are you? Thank you very much for the sub as well. Thank you very much and the like. You are an absolute star. Right, let's see. Richard Kovacic, that's not anything I'm particularly fussed about. Ruggieri's going to be injured, so that's going to be Hernandez to start. Now 9 days, so Ruggieri's probably going to miss the next game as well. So he should be back around the same time for that Bari game that we get Elena Kena back. Wait a second, is there a gap? Oh, it's a Sunday. Oh, no. Yeah, it's a Sunday game, so just hadn't come up on the calendar. That's okay. For a moment, I thought we got a nice, we got the weekend off. And the 18s, we don't have to worry about. We've got a young goalkeeper returning because the Finnish season finished in 11 games. He conceded 14 goals. Not bad. So Marco Massi is a goalkeeper, a young goalkeeper I think could be okay. But at that age, you don't really want him to be backing up your starting goalkeeper because you want him out getting playing time and experience. But if we sell Bajic, maybe Massi's going to be the backup from that point onwards, or we'll try and get him out on another loan. Right, let's get these guys sorted. So get Balieri or Profundi. They're both fully fit, so that's fine. Balieri back in. Emiru Hasuki can partner Beraldo. Left back has to be Theo. Continue Theo's return. I was happy with Kari's performance. Let's save him for the next game. So let's stick with. I don't want to rotate too much. I'm going to go with Carmona and Rafael Leao. So we'll just say next match only, just in case we don't want to change it round. So we would go Trequartista, advance forward, attacking midfielder support. We are playing up against a attacking midfielder, so we've got him marked. That's all cool. We can head on into the game. Hello, by the way, Ennis. Indeed, welcome in. How was your weekend, my dude? How was your weekend? Vangelis is in. Long time no see, indeed. Long time indeed. Did I know that someone took over your Twitch? No beard, no hair. I know. It's crazy, Vangelis. It is crazy. I need to pay attention. Right, so this is a game with no bench. Let's hope we don't end up with any injuries. Oh, bugger. Vangelis, I did a charity streamathon a couple of weekends ago. 3 days, 36 hours. And part of the streamathon was once certain money was raised, part of the beards would go until it was all gone. And the community here was absolutely incredible. Absolutely incredible. $1,300 raised. But it means no beard for a little while, and it feels very, very naked. So the pro streamer has merged with the pro FMer, and out came Imposter Man. Oh my. I haven't done that on a stream for a very, very long time. Oh, bollocks. Bove to Balieri. Balieri driving, and we can't afford to drop points. We've got 7 points from 4 games, so that is 2 wins, 1 draw, 1 defeat. We would really, really like a top 8 finish. We have got the harder games out the way. We got Barcelona, Leverkusen already played. I think there's one more tricky-ish game. I think it's Leipzig. But picking up points is really, really key. Right, Hasuki into Beraldo. Beraldo's going to find Nico now. Nico across to Bove. Bove finds Leao. Leao absolutely fucks it. Bless him. What is worse, no bench or backups only? I mean, I'd say no bench because I like to to make changes and tweak and adjust and stuff. But I think right, here's Leao. I'm not going to say what I think, because then it will happen. Baleari once again denied. Baleari, well, it's Profondi who's been denied from that spot. Our right backs are getting good opportunities, so a goal scoring right back might be a priority at some point. Right, so no abuse from Crudmo over this. I know it's a shocking. Over what? So Crudmo, let me click on my subs bench. Here's the corner, head it away. Across to Theo. Theo across to Theo. Theo takes a shot. He clearly didn't know what to do. So just leathered it, and it was a bit pat. Bernardo with the corner sends it in. Leao was the target. He loses out. Here's Bernardo though. Bernardo from the angle. Paolo Bernardo, 6th goal of the season. Oh, thank Lord for that. Thank the Lord for that. So Vangelis, why doesn't it say ACM in the score, but instead it's CAS? I assume that's something about the way that the Champions League works and the name fix. But yes, it identifies us as Kashiovit in the Champions League rather than AC Milan. Thank you, Crudmo. Thank you. Crudmo doesn't abuse. Crudmo offers constructive criticism for the optimization of all your lives. You can help me and my many problems. Bless you. Okay, we've played okay. We can play better. Oh, I accidentally pressed the wrong button, but that's okay. Again, I've pressed the wrong thing. I think that's a hint, if any, that this is not going well. Here's Theo, loses out to Peter Gabriel. Got to be more than this. Right, Emir Heskey to Theo. More than this is probably not the most famous Peter Gabriel song to work on for a bad pun. So that was a little bit dumb. Right, Beraldo. Cross to Theo. Pierre Gabriel there once again. Taking a sledgehammer to Theo. That's better. Mohac into Bulat. Bulat. Back to Mohac. Right, 1-on-1. He plays it back to Patafta. Patafta's a very satisfying name to say. Patafta. Mohac with the cross. Big pitch with the header. It's a good save from Caprile. Well done, Caprile. Right, skin thing, says Vangelis. No, it's me being an idiot thing. Just me being 100% an idiot. Did Caprile just throw that ball out for no apparent reason? Bless him.
What a head, son! What a head!
Welcome in, Martin. Oh, bless you. Thank you very much for the raid, my dude. Now, if you guys aren't following Martin, firstly, you will need to learn a little bit of Spanish, but it is absolutely worth it. An absolute gentleman. How was the stream today? Lovely, lovely to have you guys in. Surely you can do more than this. Exactly, Night and E. Exactly. Brian Ferry and Roxy music. Is there? Do we have a player that we could do Brian Ferry and Roxy music? Oh, right. Okay, yeah. Right, fine. So more than this is just a Peter Gabriel song I like. So hi from Spain now. You're not in Uruguay anymore. Oh, interesting. Interesting. And this is why we don't have this camera view all the time. Right, Bernardo with the corner. Sends it into the far post. Theo can't get there. Zugaj gets it clear. I was about to think about making a substitution, but we can't. So Martin, welcome in. I forgot to include substitutes in this game. So that's how well this is going. Yeah, I twigged in the end, Night and Knee. I'm just slow. Very, very slow. Maybe it's because your left hand is always trying to find a beard. It really is. My comfort beard is gone. Right, Mohac with the cross. Beraldo gets their first. Pierre Gabriel to Husinec, and that's the equaliser. Maybe I could bring on some players to chase this game, eh? Sipkic was the target previously, forced a great save. Gabriel had the presence of mind to find it to Husinec on the edge of the box with that glorious mohawk. Takes it first time on the volley. into the bottom corner. A lovely, lovely finish there. We haven't done anything in this second half, I don't think. One shot. We created chances by doing this. Last time we made these changes, we created chances. So that's what we're going to run with this. Tackle harder, stay wider. Tackle harder, stay wider. We don't have anyone that we can really use as a target forward. Put those crosses low. They're going to be tired because, you know, they haven't had any rest. But let's see if we can get something late on. Nah, I don't think we will. Balieri. Come on. Bove. To Balieri. Balieri gets it across to Theo. Theo feeds Leao. Leao takes his time and Leao!
Oh wow, look at me now. I'm solving all my problems with Rafael Leao. Oh, Rafael Leao.
Oh, it's the size of a Rafael Leao. Let's just drop back down again. I'm fine with the 3-5-2 shape. That's, you know, that's the advantage of having a defender as the player at the base of midfield. Right, Nico. Nico feeds Leao. Leao sends it in. Mohich gets it behind for a corner. There'll be 3 minutes of added time. The players are going to be tired. I need to probably put that pressing down as well. The rest of the lyrics and song in the stream chat. You think I'm smart enough to be able to create the rest of the song? Just take 2 lines. That's about as much as I can work out. Hey, Beraldo with the chance. It's a good save. Let's drop these back down. Nope, that bit stays up. That bit drops down. I'm happy for them to piss around with the ball in their defence in the last few moments. So, Theo with the corner. A third would be very nice. That would definitely take some of the pressure off. Carmona hasn't really done anything in this game so far, so it'd be nice for him. Damn. I was hoping to you know, when I slag a player off, they then do something good, right? So that's what we're hoping for. I'm intrigued as to why Hesuki's got a bad rating. I can't think of anything he's done notably wrong. And that's going to come here. Here's Pierre Gabriel. Pierre Gabriel finds Sipkic. Sipkic from the edge of the area. Oh, that was close. That was close. There's still time though. Mohach. It's his cross that caused problems for the first goal. He sends the cross in again. Bernardo gets it clear, but only as far as Zugac. To Musulin. Musulin goes all the way back to Floridan. Floridan is the most dangerous plot conceived. And we hold on. We hold on for bare life. Our 0 substitutes. There we go. There we go. Welcome in, Kernans. Lovely to see you. It was a lovely bank holiday. Thank you very much. How was yours? Yeah, how was yours? Pierre Gabriel almost sledgehammered us. Didn't he just? Didn't he just? He was going to climb up onto Salisbury Hill and shock the monkey. Yeah, I'm going with that. I'm going with that. Shock the Monkey's a good song, to be fair. Nice work. That was good, considering the circumstances. Cool. Let's get to that day. Let's get these guys rested up. Poor chaps. And then let's head on over to the mystery minigame. And what are we going to play for today's third mystery minigame? Let's go. Let's go and play around a shot of top 10. Shock the Milan. There we go. That can be the Milan celebration song. Beautiful. Cromwell has guessed Carlos Valderrama off the top. It's a beautiful guess. So, if you guys haven't been here when we've played top 10 before, let me explain how it works. You might be familiar with the game Tenable. It's basically that. In a few moments, underneath me there's the words criteria. I'm going to reveal a set of criteria, and you need to guess who are the top 10 players that meet that criteria. Now, you pop your answers into chat. You do need to spell the player's name correctly. However, you can use all uppercase, all lowercase, a mixture. You can include accents in their name. So if they've got an E with that funny little grave accent on top, you can include it, or you can not include it, and it will pick them up on both of them. So in a few moments, when I reveal it, it's basically a case of fastest fingers first. And I can tell you that so far it isn't going to be Carlos Valderrama, Federico Di Marco, Lorenzo Stalins, or Mason Mount. Those are my only clues that I'm going to give you. Here we go. In like 3, 2, 1. I am looking for players in the Premier League with the highest XG underperformance this season. This means the players that have have scored fewest compared to the XG. So if a player has 10 XG and scored 5 goals, then they'd have -5 XG. And the guesses are coming in. Shockingly, Højlund, Nunes aren't in the list. Calvert-Lewin is. Watkins isn't. Lukaku is not in the Premier League. Vardy comes in at number 10th. Gabriel Jesus isn't in there. Wissa isn't. Juan Pablo Angel would never be in such a list. Xerxes doesn't have enough shots to find himself in this list, but Nicholas Jackson most definitely does. He's in 4th spot. Is Cole Palmer in there? Cole Palmer isn't. No Rashford. There is a Dominic Solanke. He's -2.9 goals under his XG. No Kluivert. No Jota. No Richarlison either. So guesses coming in. We've got Havertz. We've got Cunha being guessed. Might need to check the spelling on Cunha. Evan Nielsen's guessed. Erling Haaland. Paul Krug, Chris Wood, Mbeumo, Gakpo. Verichal picks up on Eberici. Eze, fabulous work there. Kudus as well. We've got some, so we've still got four to go. Someone's gone for Brennan, but what does Brennan have a surname? Johnson is the surname, and it's not on there anyway. So Sterling, we've got the correct spelling of Cunha, and that was me being unfair as well. He's not on that list. So Wilson being guessed. Welbeck. Heung-min Son isn't on there. Odegaard has unfortunately been out injured most of the season, so probably isn't on that list. Fernandes is a very, very good guess. Maddison, I think, is a good guess as well. Semenyo. Let me see if I can give you some clues on who's still on that list. We have, they say to never go back. One of the players on this list returned to their team this season. They left for whatever reason. They then came back a season later. So 1 season away, and it wasn't a loan. That is the clue for player number 9, because I remember that one off the top of my head. Can I remember the rest of them? We have. Someone's got Cameron Archer. Damn, I was just about to do that one. Cameron Archer comes in at 6. Fabulous work there, Eddie. We have a striker that left a team at the top to get first team football in the summer. We have a player that made a questionably dodgy transfer, technically last January, but then stayed at his previous club. But they're all part of the same club, to be honest. It's a big signing that just hasn't quite lived up to expectations. Sometimes is known by different names. Sometimes they're one, sometimes they're the little version of it. So we've got Eddie Nketiah. Nketiah is correct. And we've got Savio or Savinho from Jabbits. Fabulous work there. So the last one remaining is a player who returned this season. So 2 seasons ago, they were sold by their club. This season, they came back from their club. So this is a player that was sold, bought back again, and they are not a striker. They are not a striker. So we've had Eberici Eze, Savinho, Mohamed Kudus, Nicholas Jackson, Dominic Calvert-Lewin, Cameron Archer, Dominic Solanke, Eddie Nketiah, and then Kwan comes in with Gundogan. It was indeed Ilkay Gundogan, just a little peep ahead of Jamie Vardy. Fabulous work, guys. Fabulous work. That was a very, very tricky one. So I thought we'd make it a little bit harder. This was one that I tried. I tried putting that criteria as a search term into Google, and it didn't come up. I had to go over to FBref and work it all out myself to make it a little bit harder this time round. Some absolutely fabulous ones. Gundogan is surprising in the top 10, massively surprising, because obviously to be that bad, you have to get into shooting positions. And yeah, absolutely incredible. Right, let's head on over to this one here. We're going to head over to this one here because I think it's about time to bring the stream to an end, because there's a Villa game on tonight and I want to watch us lose to Aston Villa, or more specifically, I want to cry after we lose to Aston Villa, but not on camera. So a massive thank you everyone who dropped in today. Absolutely delightful. Villa will lose to Aston Villa. Impressive indeed. I mean, we are very good at being our own worst enemy, so it does kind of make sense. Fantastic. Thank you very much, by the way, everyone who's come along. We're back tomorrow evening. So 5 p.m. British summertime, same starting time. But there is no Villa game on in the evening, so I hope to go on a little bit later. Would like to, possibly a bit ambitious here, get to the end of December and be able to hit the January transfer window before Friday. There should be an update in due course over on the Discord as well. So we're going to have some information about next week's Community Games Night stream. Going to pop a vote out there for what games we're going to play, which will probably be coming out. That poll should go up tomorrow afternoon. We also will have the FMNL at some point this week. Once I have confirmation of the date and times, I'll let you know. But yeah, without any further ado, let's say to YouTube, thank you very much. It's been an absolute pleasure.